Demonetized. Shadow Man. Slayer.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the TheRantCastPodcast. I hope you can hear me. I hope everything is smoothed out and good to go. I am Josh, also known as the StrangeBus. I'm here with my co-host, Kurgan, also known as HeroQuest Fans. And you can find him at twitch.tv/HeroQuest That's twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans.
Hey, Elviler's here.
What's going on, Elviler?
Welcome.
We had some huge issues because I forgot to import everything to the Rantcast podcast account, that's what we're going by because there are more people that go by the Rantcast. So we're restarting, technically, going back to episode 1. This is the official podcast of the Rantcast podcast. So
nothing against those other Rantcasts out there, but this is the Rantcast that you're looking for. The Rantcast podcast.
If you're looking for people that just bitch about stuff, you've come to the right place.
Right.
Anyway, we got a lot to talk about here tonight. We've got HeroQuest, HeroScape, and Star Wars. You know, the three threes we talk about usually. Searching for good in a greedy place. We're going to be opening with the HeroQuest / HeroScape Power Hour. It'll be starting with Kurgan. Then we'll be talking about some new shows that kind of opened up with Star Wars, Andor, Tales of the Jedi, personal opinions, how they've been kind of publicized and reviewed by critics, and then we'll kind of go on to some other forms of media if we have enough time, because we kind of started a little bit late, and that's all my fault. But we'll go ahead and open up here with Kurgan with the Rantcast HeroQuest Power Hour. Go ahead and take it away, good sir.
Hey, it's great to be here on the Rantcast. Noise canceling. Yeah, if you knew what we had to go through to bring this to you. Anyway, yeah, it's like the forces of chaos were conspiring against us tonight, but that's all right. I know all about the forces of chaos. So it's not so much about HeroQuest tonight as another game you may have heard of called HeroScape. Now, if you're like me, you played HeroQuest in the early 90s, and by like 92, 93, 94, it was kind of going away. I was doing other stuff, but there was this other game called HeroScape. And that one had started in, I think it was 2004. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And it was going strong for like 4, 5, 6 years, and then it kind of faded out. But I mean, it had like tons of expansions. Stephen Baker and I want to say is it Chris Von Ness or Craig Von Ness? Somebody can correct me on that. Were like the head designers and one other guy on HeroScape. And it was a very expandable game. You had like a Marvel tie-in. You had just all kinds of stuff. It was hugely popular. Go to Board Game Geek. You can find like pages of data on it. And they were doing a pledge drive similar to what HeroQuest did in 2020. And this pledge drive is going on right now. This is not an ad for it, but we're going to tie this in here. It's called HeroScape Age of Annihilation Vanguard Edition. It's $249.99. It's got 5 days and like 1 hour and 23 minutes left to reach 8,000 backers. And they're at 3,583 backers. And as far as I can tell, like I didn't play the game back in the day, but they say it was like 8 times more popular than HeroQuest. It's got a huge online fan base. Very popular game to this day. Very collectible, very expensive. If you're going for the original game, this new thing is supposed to be compatible with the old one. And the only downside people have been saying is that, well, it's not painted. That the figures aren't painted. The original, they were pre-painted. But a lot of people are really nervous about it. And I kind of feel bad for them because, I don't know, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like they're going to reach their goal. And it looks like it's a fun game. I've read a little bit about it. I've done a little bit of research. So kind of like you, StrangeBus, when you were doing the research on HeroQuest, trying to sound smart about it. I mean, you've actually played HeroQuest, so I haven't played HeroScape. So I'm going to probably sound like an idiot talking about it. But you've got all these tiles that you use to build up terrain. You've got your armies, and it's kind of a mixture of like fantasy and sci-fi, and it's just like firefights and melee battles. You've got these big bosses that you can bring in, and you've got these cool looking cards, and it looks like they made a few improvements. The storyline is all about time travel and how the universe is going to get destroyed unless the right faction wins. But they've got a lot of the tiles that are like joined together, so you don't have to like stack it tile by tile. You just kind of have a big piece that you can put on, and I guess you could buy more than one set to really expand it. But they limit each person to 5 buys. Like, it's kind of confusing. So instead of like with HeroQuest, they put it in sheer dollar numbers. Here it's like each backer is a buy. So you could order 5 sets for $250 each, and that would be your limit. So that kind of makes me think, okay, they're planning to be scalper proof and it might be a retail product, but that's assuming they reach their goal, which they don't have much time left. I mean, they're going to have to pull off a miracle to get it. And they've got all these stretch goals that, I mean, they're not going to make it. So what's going to happen to this project? How much did they invest in it? People like in Carmine, been doing videos on it and stuff. And it's like, oh man.
Thanks for following, Polsky. I appreciate it.
Hey, that's awesome. Thanks. Yeah, we're building the Rantcast back. This is awesome. So anyway, Avalon Hill's at the head. Hasbro approved it, promoted it, put it through HasLabs, and this would not, just to look on the realistic side, this would be not the first time that they've had a failure. Like, I've looked up other products. There was like a Ghost Rider product that failed, project fundraiser that failed. There was Cookie Monster that failed. There was a Rancor that failed. There was Reva's lightsaber that failed. So I don't know. I feel bad. Like, if this fails, is this going to I don't know what it's really like at Hasbro, but I just picture somebody who's just, looking at the bottom line, like, oh, I guess no one's interested in this stuff. Let's just cut the funding. Like, I hope it doesn't trickle down and impact the other board game stuff, because that'd be really sad. I mean, as a HeroQuest fan, I've gotten a lot of stuff from this new Avalon Hill thing, and they keep, they've promised us a lot of stuff, and I hope that isn't impacted by this, but I feel bad for the HeroScape fans who, don't have their sets anymore and were hoping that this was going to come out. Now they're going to be going to eBay and paying through the nose for the old stuff.
No problem.
Yeah.
So I guess just giving my 2 cents on it, right? Kurgan kind of gave me a fill-in on how how Hasbro works on this sort of stuff, right? This is Hasbro.
HasLab, yeah.
HasLab.
Fundraisers.
So this isn't their first rodeo, but I feel like as far as the board game thing goes, if I'm showcasing this off right, and I hope everybody can see it. Like I said, this was imported from my previous account, so I hope everything is right. I hope everybody can hear us okay. But
out the bugs this time.
It really is kind of a shame, because like I said, I don't know what were the HeroQuest stats when they released it like this.
So HeroQuest's goal, they said, if we get $1 million, it'll go into production. And you had the $99.99 basic heroic tier, and then you had the $149.99 mythic tier.
Okay.
And back then, you could spend as much money as you wanted. So you could order like 20, 30 sets, whatever. With this, they're limiting you to 5.
Okay, and how
they're
much?
saying 8,000 backers, which is almost $2 million.
And did they ever plan on re-releasing HeroQuest naturally after this was done, depending on what the numbers were? Or
we don't know.
Okay, so
other than we see in Carmine and some other people, they can only tell us certain things, and I understand like they're bound by non-disclosure agreements or whatever. But
their job,
they got to follow the rules. So all they could tell us is that the guys that are in that Avalon Hill division or whatever you want to call it, they really wanted it to go to retail, but they had to prove themselves first. They had to show that it was profitable, and once it reached that goal, then it was. Yeah, sure, of course it's going to go to retail. But usually this stuff does not go onto store shelves.
Okay, this is going to come off really... I don't know if this is going to come off controversial or not, but this almost, like, this looks really good. Like, crafted really well, right? They said they weren't painted, right? Yeah. They're not painted?
They have the same sculpting. The people that did the sculptures for the HeroQuest remake are also doing
But, like, this is almost like if they wanted to re-release a modern-day Mousetrap and then make you pay for it. And then not retail release it. So, because to me, as far as I've known, HeroScape isn't widely known.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And okay, so how not widely known is it? Like, how far back are we talking?
Well, that's a good question because I think I want to say it was 2012 when the last thing was released.
Okay, so let me retract that statement.
Right.
It's like them kind of refunding maybe an old Star Wars game or something that people were mildly fond of, but they're making you pay for it. And then once again, this is kind of like one of those things where I think branding and marketing come into play, because if what I'm getting is true, this is the only time you'll be able to buy it. It's $250. They want 8,000 people to back it up. And then after that, it goes to a market. It doesn't get re-released unless it's popular or anything like that. And this is good work, right?
Yeah, I get the impression that if they don't make their goal, it's not coming to stores. Period.
71 miniatures. You got 68. Is that Larwall terrain pieces? There's a lot of shit in here.
Yeah.
And
now they did paint the tile.
I feel like the sword is a little misrepresented.
If that came with that katana, I would say that. I'd get it just for the katana, and it comes with a cool board game too.
Cheap katana because it's only $250.
Probably a wall hanger, yeah.
The funding ends in 5 days, like almost 5 days exactly, and they still need almost half, less than half, or more than half of their target base hasn't been met. So
they need Elon, they need Jeff Bezos, they need Zuck,
I'm not saying they're meeting unrealistic expectations here, but they're pretty high. And
you only had 2 months to pledge.
Yeah, and for 2 months for a game that like I know nothing about HeroScape, and I'm not like the big guy here, but like
I never played it, but yeah. I mean, I would give it a chance. Of course, I have kind of a personal like $200 for a board game. I don't want to spend more than that. And I know it's expensive to make board games.
Look at there's a lot of Star Wars. What was it? There's a Star Wars board game that I know of that comes in big, like it's a big box game, and like some of the
X-Wing.
No, X-Wing is reasonable. That one was $30 or $40 a box. There's a big one that's like about $200-300. Yeah, Rebellion? But I think so. I'm gonna have to double check on it before I go and announce my knowledge incorrectly, because the last couple rant casts I've been wrong. I'm going to come back to that when I get to Andor. So, Armada, that's it, Elveiler. You are yeah, like I went to a board game shop and it was fucking expensive. Pardon my French. It was
Armada. I thought that wasn't there a Star Trek Armada? Or I'm thinking something totally different.
I'm pretty sure it was Armada. Hold on. I can fact check this on my
fact check on the Rantcast.
Let me check. Yeah. Here, because I can double check.
Well, listen, like I could do a weekly stream where it was just me correcting stuff that I.
And it was the box set, right? It wasn't like
we make mistakes.
Single pieces. So if you're getting a core set, it's $287, I believe.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, it's
when it's $200, it's like okay, if it's an awesome game,
you can get it cheaper somewhere for about $150. But like a lot of people sell it if you want it now, like in store. Yeah.
I was gonna say this thing. Doesn't look like it's going to come out, which is too bad. But if it did come out but didn't go retail, that's guaranteed scalper territory. And they're going to charge like 5 times.
And that's what I'm saying is like I kind of feel this is kind of one of those things where we're putting. And granted, a business has to make money, but this is when if you watched our earlier rant casts before. I wonder how it's going to affect the Avalon Hill Discord. Are all the HeroScape channels going to disappear? I don't think so, because there's always
talk about the old game.
Yeah, I mean, like
they're 10 years down.
There's a fan base for it.
Justify it again. Like, listen, we'll start small. People were saying, well, what if the tiles were like cardboard or something? Of course, then people would be angry. They'd be like, what is this?
But let's get that goes back to my other question. How popular right now, not back then, how popular now is HeroScape?
Supposedly, they say the online presence is like 8 times bigger than HeroQuest. And I don't know how big. I mean, HeroQuest is like maybe like.
I really hope they got that correct, because, like I said, if you're looking at
it was all bots, guys. Sorry.
Look at the. Ooh. I mean, like we're looking at our picture here, and they've got 5 days to get to 8,000 backers. And like I said,
according to the money price tag fails, but.
Yeah, but the price tag just isn't enough for 8,000 people to go, whoa.
What if somebody says, oh, well, we're in a recession and it's inflation, and
Okay, but that's the excuse for a lot of people nowadays. Well, okay, look at me. This is my opinion on that, right? And for me, inflation is about 7% at this point, right? Even if we are in a recession and there's inflation, like a board game that was like what once $130 doesn't need to go up $300. That's still greedy. Like
Well,
that's inflation plus recession plus I need to make more money.
and I should have. Sorry, this is my fault. I should have looked at Board Game Geek before we did this to see like what did you get in the original set, which is like
That's true.
HeroScape: Rise of the Valkyrie, I think is what it was called. So 2004. Like, what did you get in that set? Because this is a self-contained game.
Yeah.
Like, you could be starting from scratch. Well, and the other thing is, okay, so it's only been 10 years. It hasn't been like 30 years. So for all we know, like most of the HeroScape like fans still have their sets, and so they're like, why do I need to buy this?
And I also think that if you're selling
new people involved,
if you're selling to a smaller market, because I feel like
collectors,
collectors, painters, stuff like that are big. They're big guys.
Because what I understand, HeroScape is dominated by people that collect. They got to have everything. They got to paint everything.
Well, I'm more thinking of like
you got to get new people in.
Like if you're getting into a Warhammer type of situation,
exactly. Yeah.
Those people will probably pay $200 to $500 for a board game.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, well, that's a big deal.
Like,
go for it. Oh, like, new one's out, gotta have it.
How many people you're wanting 8,000 people to buy this?
Right.
And I don't,
or a smaller number to buy multiple copies.
Yeah, and
there's no way I would buy it. It's like, oh, here's a Christmas present for my friends.
Like I said, a lot of these are well done.
Yeah.
But
people were even saying, hey, you could use these for HeroQuest too.
Yeah, so I'm not
gonna spend $250 for
a
couple miniatures.
I would say you could probably get. I'd say if you knocked it down to 200, it'd be more reasonable.
Yeah.
To me, it's like once it's the price, and two, I've never really found that releasing your new products, all of your new products, as like a backer project, I've never found that ethical. Because it's one thing to release something that you find unsure but passionate about, to let the fans decide whether or not they want to release.
Question, going along that line, do you think that if they just brought this to like Target, that people would buy it for this price?
No. But at the same time, I don't think that charging $250 and saying, well, we'll let the fans decide whether or not they want to pay for it. Because 10 to 1, there are copies already being made, or there's at least a demo unit somewhere because they have stuff to show.
Yeah, because I'm sure. Well, they've shown actual videos like Chris Nato and Van Ness have done. Yeah, so it's not all computer generated.
So
they've invested some money in
somebody's going to have this. I mean, they have to have a failed product somewhere that they have for show.
Lock it in vaults for 10 years and come back and try it again.
So I would say
I feel bad that. I mean, I'm not saying that they would do this, but I could just imagine someone sitting there going, well, I guess the fans just don't care. I guess they're just a bunch of cheapskates. They don't want this.
And we're also not
write it off.
We're also not important to ship to Quebec.
Yeah. How hard is it to print an English and a French booklet together? Yeah, someone's going to say, well, no, you got to format it. It takes a long time. I don't know. It sounds easy to us. It's like, I know that you can prototype like a board game, like through like Board Games Maker. And yes, they're doing it like with the cheapest possible materials in China somewhere, some sweatshop.
I mean, hey, you're supposed to be the positive.
I'm supposed to be the positive guy. Well, listen, I don't know for sure if it's really a sweatshop, but I'm just imagining like, how do they keep the prices so low? Like, I don't want it.
Well, that's where I'm going with this on here, right?
Yeah.
They make a demo unit, they ask people to pay for it, and they cover their costs. I mean, they could 3D print these, I'm pretty sure.
This might be totally justifiable. Maybe they're taking a loss on this. Maybe it costs even more to make this, from what we know. But I just feel like, but still, they have to expect people to want to pay for it.
You know, Violet makes a big point here. It's not even just the book. It has to be reprinted. The box cover, everything needs to be reprinted in French in order.
Well, there's a way around that too. So with Mage of the Mirror, they've got the box, and then they've got like just a cardboard slipcover that goes over it that has like alternate text. So yeah, but they've got to print that, and they got to fold it, and they got to, you know.
I mean, if somebody's paying for it, why not?
Yeah,
like
it's like I've got the French and the English. Okay,
so, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the big business guy, but having some business sense, I would say like this seems a little steep.
Yeah.
I mean,
so somebody there made the decision, and it just looks like it's not working. So how could they have done it differently?
but then again,
Make a smaller box,
like I said, this also has the Avalon Hill tag on it too. So
yeah, it's all over it. So
I want to.
Sorry for them.
Yeah, I will. I mean, they are part of this too. Once again, the businesses are together. Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to say this: they are all part of that. Hey,
Nixius, welcome
to
the RantCast podcast.
Yes, the RantCast podcast.
RantCast podcast. Just remember that.
We are
put it on a t-shirt.
It's
podcast t-shirts.
It's Hasbro and Avalon Hill. So
talking about HeroScape here.
We can't just blame them both. But I think that they're a big enough company that if they wanted to release something small, they could do a temporary release. And like I said, HeroQuest had pretty decent pieces, right?
Yeah.
I think they kind of went all out for this to see how many people would back it, because these pieces look really good. I mean, from the previews that I'm looking at, they look really good. So,
well, with HeroQuest, I think with the photos they took, like the actual pieces looked better than the photos. The only problem with that was some people got their sets and like the pieces were broken.
See, and that's another big thing. It's like
glued weird.
So you never know what you're looking at in the picture either, too. So I once again,
there's videos where they played with them and they look fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, for all we know, they're just like they threw away.
Well, there should be a video here somewhere.
Yeah, there's demonstrations. See,
we can take a look without the sound.
I've never played this game before, and I think it looks good.
Please skip a little bit.
Yeah. See, they're.
Like I said, if you guys need it blown up a little bit more, we can do that.
Do you think those are metal prototypes that are painted to look like plastic?
Well, because if it's a personalized demo unit, they can have it crafted a little better, but that's just me.
See, there's our guys right there. These guys help make HeroQuest a success. Here they are with this product. They're all proud of it and everything, and it's like, oh, man, guys.
Like I said, I have no real problem with the fact that they have HeroScape in general as itself. It's the fact that
I'm not worried.
My thing is the fact that this has become a regular thing, right? Is that having people back everything for a release, and they have
the model for every.
Yeah, that being released as a model for things, right? Yeah, so, like I said, it's not a demo unit. It's probably 3D printed, yeah, because it looks really good. I mean, I have never, like I said, I don't own a lot of board games, and like unless you're like paying $300 to $500 for one, they usually don't have personalized handcrafted if they're like making in mass for something.
I have a lot of cheap games.
Warhammer usually does that. They'll do like really well done. Well, at least the ones that I've been shown.
See, this is plastic terrain. Like,
so
if they left out those discs and just gave you like the files to 3D print them, of course, not everybody does it. Or make it out of foam, make it out of
but
board or something.
If that's what you're getting, I can understand kind of because a lot of that's looks like it's personally done. So like, not a lot of it's done with a huge machine, but it could be, like I said, it could be 3D printed, and then it could be like, I don't know, it could be dipped. I don't know much about the 3D printing. Like
an airbrush goes across the top.
Yeah.
Maybe a glaze layer. I don't know.
Like I said, this is all speculation for me. As far as that's, I'm not much of a pro on how things are 3D printed or anything.
And we spied on them. Yeah,
but if it's a lot easier
those figures are pretty good size too.
Yeah, they are. They're a nice size.
They're like gargoyle size.
So,
and they've got that. I'm not sure if those walls were part of the original game. Of course, there's like trees and stuff too.
Let's skip a little bit.
The dice are pretty simple.
See if they introduce any more. But
they got specialized cards, so they got to get a special die cut for that.
But it looks like I said,
this is not the HeroScape Save HeroScape telethon, but we're just talking about the situation.
No,
And I feel bad for the people that
about
this that worked hard.
For people that are watching, do you think it's worth the $250? Like, that's the
shipping
big thing.
Is included. They did say that,
and shipping is included. If you think that's the case, then I might be with you on it. But at the same time, I also feel that because Kurgan's brought it up. Avalon Hill is pretty big on, or not Avalon Hill, not just Avalon Hill, but Hasbro's pretty big on funding projects, a lot of projects as backer projects.
Yeah.
And,
it's not like they're going to be hurting for money. I mean, they've got like other things in the fire, other areas in the fire.
Clearly have put in most of development work already. They have all the 3D models done, and gameplay skins or plans. They have made a huge investment. It seems like all the work would be a waste if it doesn't fun. See, and that's what I'm thinking is that I think that when they do this, they usually probably redo the work, like to get everything ready to go, and they have things set up. They have a demo. Like, I'm guessing this is a demo unit, so somebody's going to get this if it doesn't work, and they're going to say, "Oh, well, this was for our HeroScape thing that didn't work out, but I'm going to keep it." Like, like when I worked at GameStop, there was things I kept there that, like,
So if you're friends with one of these guys, you go over to his house. Hey, you
got to see some things that never got released.
Check it out.
Yeah, so
just in a plain cardboard box. Here it is.
But it was like with that Reva lightsaber, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure somebody's got that.
Somebody's got the original demo, but they didn't mass make it because nobody wanted to fund it, and they just refunded the money. I can't imagine that they have 250 or at least 1,000 already done.
Look how big that figure is.
So
if that's like solid plastic, that's huge. That's like one of those dragons, like the Reaper dragons that you got to assemble.
But like I said, if these have weight to them, if these pieces have weight to them, if they
like,
look this good,
$50 figure,
I would probably understand it, because stuff like this doesn't get handcrafted or get this personalized anymore. It's like I said, you've seen my Star Wars. I've showcased my Star Wars figures, like my Star Wars pieces,
and they were fit on a card table.
They're breaking down. Like you said, they have like a paint mold on them.
Oh yeah.
From like years of just neglect.
You need to soak those in like some detergent and scrub them.
Yeah, I just they've had a long list.
I've bought old games that are just really gross and cleaned them up.
Really gross,
man.
But yeah, so this is what you're.
That's me. Like if you're buying a new product, you want it to stand the test of time, especially if you're paying that much for it. You want to customize it yourself.
My biggest thing here, and like I said, the thing I'm talking about is they do this a lot.
You get those two big orange figures. Well, you would if it gets funded.
My next question is do people find this a good business model or a bad business model? Because I'm not huge on having almost every big idea backed.
I never backed like a fundraiser like this until HeroQuest, and I was very reluctant to do so. Like I had a lot of people telling me, "Oh yeah, this is how they do it." I know people that they have like just dozens of Kickstarters that they just are funding all the time. It's like, really? Like I would rather just buy a product straight away and not have to like worry, oh, it's not gonna get made, or I don't know.
Right.
I guess it gives people a feeling of ownership, like I made that happen. Like this is for the fans, by the fans, kind of thing. But yeah, it seems, like I said, there's a little bit. It seems a little bit greedy, especially if it doesn't go to retail.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, I have a very strong sense that if this got funded, it would go to retail. Like I feel like that's the direction they're going.
Well, that's
the Avalon Hill board games for now, but it's just not going to get back.
That's the thing is it?
No one will see it.
I was going to say, would it actually? How many of these backer things do actually go to retail? Because you said HeroQuest did, right?
I think HeroQuest is a rare exception. Most of the HasLab stuff, that's it. This is an exclusive, limited time collector, hardcore fan product, like a $500 lightsaber, or $400. What was it? Jabba's sail barge, the katana. That was the first one that I heard about that succeeded. It was like $400, and it was Jabba's sail barge, and it had like a couple figures inside it, but it was huge. And everyone was like, "Oh man, these dream projects! They're funding, nerd dream projects." And that was the big deal. But yeah, how many of these can you afford to?
I follow if you can burp. Yes. Follow.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining the new Rant.
Yeah, thanks for following the Rantcast, guys. I appreciate it.
Don't forget the podcast part.
Yeah,
because there are other Rantcasts up.
Burp to keep my follow. I'm leaving that one up to you, bro.
The noise canceling.
Yeah, I was about to say the noise canceling will get rid of it. So
yeah.
We might lose you.
What are we? A couple of trained monkeys here. We're just gonna do what you say. Like,
I mean, yeah, I can, but the noise canceling's gonna kill it. I mean, you're not gonna hear it.
Now you got a sub. You got to gift a sub. So those are the rules. I don't make them. I enforce them. That's what he agreed to. You saw that, didn't you?
Oh, okay.
Sweet.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's about all you're gonna get.
Edit. We're just like just rumbling.
No.
This is not an ASMR stream.
Yeah, I might lose you. But thanks for coming in.
Thanks for joining the Rant, the Buildcast, podcast. Yeah, this is getting weird real quick. But that's what you get on the Rant podcast.
But anyway, well, the big part about it was I feel that because Elveiler said that people build entire businesses around this model.
Yeah,
like he doesn't like it, but it seems to be effective. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it if it didn't make money. It didn't work most of the time because we've talked about the failures.
I don't know. Like, there's tons of business models that work, right? And I feel like people walk past you in New York and they'll bump into you or still try to sell you CDs because their business model works, and they'll force you into a violent scam if you end up taking the CD. I mean,
just because it works doesn't mean it's ethical.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like
a little shady, a little scummy.
I think a lot of people miss the ethical points to it, right? Is because is it good? Is it ethical? Does it work? Yes, it works.
Yeah,
but
it's like the burp for subs thing. I mean, yes, that is a business model. You know,
there are no subs.
You're sitting there in your hot tub, and you're like, okay, burp for sub, and it's just like
it's a follow. It's a follow.
Pretty soon, or sub follow, yeah, whatever. Yeah, pretty soon, you're eating, beans, you're gulping down, broccoli,
farting in a jar,
sick,
selling your bathwater.
Your doctor's telling you, listen, you've got to stop this now, or you will die. And then you gotta stop doing it.
It starts with a burp and ends with farting in a jar.
Pretty soon,
selling to folks.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into it. You can look it up if you want to. Don't look it up at work, but there is. They had a certain business model on their stream, and it was making money. It was making money, but it was not good for a person's health. And
who are you talking about?
Nobody.
Also, hey, wait.
Not the person you're thinking of. There's another person.
Since we moved over,
there's a Twitch streamer
to this podcast channel, and this podcast channel isn't affiliated.
We're affiliated.
We don't have ads. There are no ads, so no ad breaks really.
See, so okay, everybody, we're gonna stay unpopular. All right, that's the deal.
Stay unpopular. Seven or 6 followers.
Just below. We're gonna have to ban a couple people just to keep it under that threshold. I'm kidding.
Or am I?
You don't know on the RantCastPodcast.
Yeah, this is that was the best part of the night. Was we had a guy come in. It's like, hey, you can keep my follow if you can burp, dude. I'm like, we say Rantcast too hard, and it sounds like we're about to throw up because the noise cancellation. Unless, of course, it's got it's his microphone. So yeah.
Yeah, you might hear it. So HeroScape. So final thoughts on that, or do you have more to say?
I like what they did with it. I don't know if it'd be worth $250, maybe $200, but if that's what they're pricing it at, I think that's fine. I just probably won't buy it, and I can understand why they're not going to probably meet 8,000 people in 5 days. If they do, fucking surprises me. At the end to close out, I don't find the backer model very ethical. Only for the fact that there are products they could probably temporarily release, spend a little bit more money, still make a profit, and not go around, saying, well, we can only exclusively release this to people who pay $200, $300, $400.
Because there's other ways, like they spend money on market research to figure out, is this going to be a profitable?
Based on my first impressions, and no offense, I'm going to bring Avalon Hill into this. No, based on my first impressions on how they market things, it doesn't seem like they do a good job. So they're doing something that relies on people coming in to back them, and then releases their marketing in really weird ass areas. So word
of mouth on social media.
I don't I don't know. Like I said, I'm also a 30-year-old guy who's kind of falling out of the trend.
Oh, it's hurt there. Yeah.
But like Twitter is now no longer going to be a very trendy place unless the Musk man can change it up. But it seems like he's also making a very ethical decision, giving you a paid model for Twitter. So I feel like that's kind of a shitty situation on its own. Not everything has to be, peasant free and premium paid.
Yeah.
Literally,
You're gonna have a very small.
Your right to speak shouldn't be paid, and I feel like Twitter, as crappy as it is, people should go on there, and if it exists, people should have the right to speak on there. And there was a news. I'm going to kind of trend off a little bit. There was a news article that was talking about how curious the business model would be to pay social media, to make social media a paid platform. And I think it's really fucking evil to do so, because now you're having people pay for their right to speak. Because literally the reason you're paying is so that people can see what you say more. So you can spout everything off if you're on there for free, spout everything off at the mouth more. And then maybe it'll be like the YouTube algorithm. Almost nobody will see you.
Yeah.
But if you're paying $10 a month, like you are everywhere else, you'll get noticed a little bit more. If you're paying $20 a month, then your shit will go on the top of the algorithm and everybody will see you. And that's where it's going. And like the people are actually accepting us. They're like, oh, it might be a curious business model. It'd be really cool. And this is where I come back to Elvira and say, yeah, it may work, but is it ethical? Is it a cool thing to do? Because
are they making it the same for everyone?
It's how liberty dies, my friend, with thunderous applause. I mean, it really is.
Well, because if you're a big corporation, you can obviously get yourself known. You just grease the palms a little bit, and you can.
Like at this point, I could just start a business where, like,
you're just a regular.
You fart on camera, and if you pay the premium price, your biggest fart will be known on the top of my list. Yeah. I mean, I'm at this point where like you could do the stupidest shit and have people pay for it, and they'll still pay for it, and it's really dumb. Like, where's your common sense?
It's all about making money at the end of the day.
By the time I pay shipping and exchange rate, it'll be almost $450. But they said the shipping was included.
Yeah, the shipping, that's the part that I got wrong at the start. They said the shipping is included. Now, that where the shipping would still come in is if you're in one of the countries that are not covered by the Kickstarter thing.
Is he not covered in?
I don't know. Well, like, let's say you're in Australia and they're not shipping to Australia. I don't know. Or Quebec. Let's say you're in Quebec and you don't get it. So you'd have to pay extra for somebody else to have it shipped to them and then back to you. And there may be tax, but the $249.99 is supposed to include the shipping. So it's not like $30 extra shipping. Yeah, Elvira, I'm not sure where you're at. You don't have to say, but.
Oh, and if Onynexus is still in chat here, thanks for following, man. We missed you.
Who?
Onynexus.
Onyxius,
sorry.
Oni, still called late for dinner. Hey, Zeke. He's a pretty cool guy. He played with us HeroQuest a couple times.
Awesome.
Yeah.
International shipping to Canada, $30.
Space Crusade.
Ugh. Yeah, no.
Hey, thanks, Polsky.
That's what I'm saying here is
keeping the bots out. I think this is our first bot banning.
No, it's our second. There was another one.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
Yeah, so like I was saying before, for you it's $450. I don't think that would be
nice work, man. Keep it up.
I don't think that would be very I don't know. I don't think it's worth it at that point. If you can pay for shipping, it's $250. So like I said, I don't think they're thinking about that. I don't know if they really think about the people in Canada either, because they've got this.
If it's a retail product, then you get bragging rights. Like, oh, I got it before anyone else, and I've got the.
But there is no one else. If this doesn't get released, everybody buys it. They meet the 8,000 backers. Are they going to retail release it? Because if they don't, then
I think so.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
That's how HeroQuest was. Like,
it's kind of up in the air.
People got it. And then, like, 1 month later, the retail version came out.
You know what they could do? I would even find this more acceptable. They could release this as a backer thing. If 8,000 people are met, they could at least tell people during the announcement that they would retail release it, but in a basic version.
Ah, yeah. So this is like the special edition.
Stream is still skipping. Check.
lowering the bit rate a touch.
I'm good for...
Because we're not affiliate yet, so maybe we're not getting like the high tier.
No, because my bit rate's at like 5,000-6,000, but we'll
pay
see.
your $8.
Okay.
I'm glad I was never part of Twitter.
Try refreshing one more time here, Polsky, just for me.
It looks like, I mean, they talk about it the same way they talked about HeroQuest. They said exclusive figures. You get these two big, like, bug rider monster guys. And so if it did go to retail, you probably wouldn't get those, but you get everything else.
We had a tad bit of drop frames, but it's like 38. There's nothing.
As long as we don't get the guy with the headphones and the blue background, and he's like, oh.
Yeah.
I used to be like, what the heck is happening? Who is this guy? All right, thanks for the feedback, Polsky. Yeah, we're just getting the bugs ironed out on the new Rantcast podcast. So,
because I should be at 720p. I should have no issues right now.
So 3,583 backers, and they got to make like almost double that in 5 days. It's not going to happen. Sorry.
No context. Need you to pick 1, 2, or 3. On my count to 3, you just say 1, 2, or 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 2. Try again. 1, 2, 3. 2. 1, 2, 3. Say again. 1.
3.
1, 2, 3. Say again.
1.
All right. 1.
That's the number of times we have to burp to keep us safe.
Look, man, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
But I can't. I'm not gonna.
If that's in Carmine under another name.
I do belches, but I'm not a. You are on the wrong. My clown stream is on the StrangeBus. It's not here.
ASMR.
All right, deal. Terran campaign and StarCraft 2 it is. Although I might prefer Zerg. I haven't done StarCraft 2 in so long. All right.
More of a Warcraft kind of guy.
Warcraft 3?
Yeah.
Old edition?
Just make sure you disconnect your internet.
Yeah, just make sure you play the old school one. Disconnect your internet before...
we'll force you to update to the...
Yeah, before they come on down, they're like, oh, wait, you're playing the old edition? No, we want to upgrade you to that.
You just hear someone pounding on the door, and they're just like, install
It's Bobby Kotick. He's knocking on your door. Anyway.
We just force it down your throat. See if you like it.
We don't do the old editions anymore.
Ooh, it's a remake.
Diablo 2? You want the remaster? You're going to get the remaster.
You like it? That's what I was downloading again. I had a hankering, but didn't know which campaign I wanted to start with. Done them all back to front, so hence the no context.
We're glad we could help.
Yeah, Polsky. Yeah, another band.
Yeah. We don't need social stream growth. Get out of here.
Take a drink. Yeah, I banned that bot from mine like not too long ago.
All right.
Your social growth strength right here.
I think I'm going to call a break here. I'm going to grab a quick drink. We'll switch up topics. Do you have anything about HeroQuest before we leave?
HeroQuest is in a good place, and I'm really curious about the next expansion. I hope that this whole HeroScape debacle doesn't hurt their plans for future HeroQuest development. But I just want to say I'm not jealous of HeroScape. If it were to succeed, I'd be like, good for you guys. Like, I don't feel bad, but
I hope Avalon Hill can handle both.
Yeah, I hope that this doesn't send a ripple effect through and they say, well, you know what, board games, nobody wants them, so shut off the funding.
I understand they have to answer to Hasbro, but I think that I have faith in Avalon Hill to be able to handle their own IPs at some point in time.
They seem like competent guys who love games.
Yeah, and they seem pretty
best of luck.
Pretty smart and skillful. So as far as Hasbro, their tagline always stands, where fans come first. This backer stuff is taken very literally. Fans come first in all regards. You pay for it too. You pay to keep our projects alive. And
so people are going to feel bad. Oh man, we didn't support it enough. Oh.
I feel like they take the estimate and they're like, well, it's going to cost this much and we need this many people or it just isn't going to work.
So if they had a smaller, less expensive pack.
I feel like they should just have less
give them more
people.
time or have less backers. Yeah, something. It's
Like, if they
okay,
weren't
maybe
gonna-
they'll take a loss on it. When they go to retail, they can make it up.
Well, if they're not going to retail it, then maybe have less people. If they are going to retail it, this might seem reasonable. Not to mention the fact that this does look good. But I have seen projects done by Hasbro that you have shown me
Yeah.
that have not gone to ground, and they've just they look bad.
And
Like they are bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look
They were
impressive.
way
It's like,
too
well, no
expensive.
wonder,
Way too expensive.
no wonder nobody wanted it. Well, and with this, it's like I don't think they set it up to fail. Like they go, oh, well, we know no one cares, so here, let me just run it.
Well, you brought that up, so
I did.
I am going to bring that up for really.
Yeah.
So you were saying that since HeroQuest kind of had its day,
Yeah.
that maybe Avalon Hill, but I think Hasbro wanted to switch into a different direction. So to kind of give people some hope, they released this, going, well, if enough people back it, you guys can go ahead and release it. We won't take it to retail, but it'll kind of make the community happy, and then we'll switch to something else. We'll take you and we'll switch you to something else, board game related, but it won't be HeroQuest anymore. We're going to take you into a different gear. And if it doesn't, well, then we'll say, well, this stuff's too expensive to make. Nobody's backing it anymore. Let's go into a different direction. So I feel like this is kind of we're going to switch into a different direction mode. Like we're moving on.
So HeroScape becomes something different.
Yeah.
Because this is like the old HeroScape. It's just unpainted.
HeroQuest campaign was $99. Retail is something like $149. If HeroScape were to go to retail, would it be over $300?
Yeah, HeroQuest, you're right. $99.99 for the heroic tier, and you got two.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
5 extra figures.
So the basic edition was more expensive?
The retail version was $125.99.
And you got less.
Yes. And then after the recession, they raised it to $135.
The fuck?
Yeah. Although people say the build quality was slightly better, but only slightly. I mean, the box was like easier to open.
Yeah. So are they expecting this to be $1,000 after it's done? Because like
I can imagine
this build quality looks good.
This would be like $300 probably.
Like Jesus, I don't know. Like I said, I'm glad I have Elveiler here because he's bringing up points I didn't even think about. But I don't know. Then, like I said, I feel like they may want to switch in different directions.
Because just like HeroQuest, like 2 months just goes by like that, and people are like waking up saying, "Wait, what? There was a campaign a year ago for this, and I missed my chance to pledge."
Marketing, dude.
Oh shoot!
Like,
I didn't see it on Twitter. I didn't see it in my email.
Has anybody seen anything broadcasted for this on any platforms? Anything at all?
I knew about it, but that's only because I'm constantly like I'm subscribed to Avalon Hill on YouTube. I'm subscribed to I get Yield In and Discord and yeah. So it's like I knew about it because I'm in the loop. I'm like constantly monitoring it, and because of HeroQuest fans Discord, people are always talking about it. So they're like, "Oh yeah, Age of Annihilation," and I'm like, "What the heck is this?" And so I had to look it up. But yeah, if I'm a HeroScape player, unless I'm on Twitter, I'm on HasLab and going, I wonder if they're gonna reboot the game that I like. Like I wouldn't know about it. Only seen it on YouTube, Discord, and Twitter. And I mean, what else are they supposed to do? Put it on like TikTok or Reddit or have TV commercials? Who watches TV anymore, right? What's a TV, Grandpa? But yeah, HeroScape. It's like 2 months to fund this thing. Like if they gave people like 6 months, if they said instead of 8,000 backers, like 5,000, like what if they get really close, like 700 or 7,100 backers? Would they go, oh yeah, it's enough? Or would they say, nope, we said 8,000, that's it, done. We're not going to spend any more money on it. Yeah, Elveiler. I mean, that's the thing. The price probably would go up and you would get less. But according to what they showed here, I mean, it's those two big orange figures that you wouldn't be getting. And I don't think it would go up like $100. It wouldn't double. But yeah, 300 is a lot. I mean, you wouldn't be paying for shipping. It's just in the store. The new HeroQuest is on store shelves now, but not like where I live. But I guess in some, like people have taken photos. It's like, okay, my local game shop, there it is. They've got boxes and boxes of HeroQuest and the expansions. So they haven't come right out and said that this would be retail if it was backed, but I think personally it would be, because I think that's the direction all the Avalon Hill stuff is going. So that's not speaking for all the other HasLab stuff like the Ghostbusters and Power Rangers and all that. But yeah, it's a shame. Because if this was a retail product, yeah, I don't think I'd buy it for $300. But if it was like $200, maybe, after I learn more about the game. Elviler says, we never hit the last goal for HeroQuest, but they still released it anyway. So maybe there's hope. Well, here's the difference, Elviler. So for HeroQuest, it was $1 million is the minimum threshold to go into production. With the stretch goals, they were saying $4 million to get those last two things, the Joe Manganiello pack and the extra gargoyle. And they got close. It was like 30 or 3.6 or it's 3.65 million. It was supposed to be 3.7, 3.9, 4. So they were just a little bit off. With this, they're not saying 8,000 for all the extras. Like you could show that picture again. There's like all these stretch goals after this. This is just for the minimum. This is just for the core set. So if they don't get 8,000 backers,
lock in your head.
It's not happening. You know what I mean? Like if they get like 15,000 more backers, you get another figure. They're also not giving you very much. I mean, with HeroQuest, yeah, it's like, okay, 2 extra figures for each tier, another set of dice, another quest book. Here it's like 1 figure. And yeah, the figures that they're offering are supposed to be like in-game, they're like powerful characters.
Okay, now hold on a second. It says standard shipping handling to the United States included. Otherwise, shipping and handling charges will be calculated time to checkout. Okay.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
So certain areas would pay more. So
this has been going since the 1st of October.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
October to November, to mid-November. So, yeah, barely. Not even quite 2 months. Like a month and a half. So it's short. Very short. So you're sitting there counting your pennies, and then you're like... Well, the other thing is, I don't know if this is really right to bring this up, but during COVID, people were like, dang, I need something to do. Oh, I know, I'll get a board game and play it at home. This is awesome. But now it's like people are getting out, sunshine.
There are always going to be like board game collectors, but yeah. I just feel like 8,000 people is a big jump.
Yeah, because most people are not going to buy multiple copies, right? Especially if they're thinking in their head, this is going to retail, I can't scalp it. I'll have 1 month to scalp it, and then people will be like, no. Because even if it is $400 in a store, a scalper is going to sell it for double, or triple. They're not going to run away fortune. Don't be a fool. They're not going to sell it for just $1 above. If it was $7,995, then maybe. Yeah. If they got super super close, it would be a shame. Like these guys would be on their knees, like begging. They're like, please, let us do it. Like, come on, here. I got $20 in my wallet. Here, just there. It's good.
All right.
I don't know.
We so closing off, really tell us how
thanks
you
for
feel.
Joining, Elviler.
And thanks for joining us, Elviler.
Great stream.
Like, tell us how you feel about HeroQuest, HeroScape currently at the moment. What you would think Avalon Hill and Hasbro would do. Yeah. If you think the backer business model is ethical and unethical, if you think it works. That's the whole point of the Rantcast podcast. We like to include your opinions. They're always welcome. Yeah. No matter if we disagree with them or anything.
Our word is not the final word.
Yeah, it's not the final word. We're just, chilling with people, having a conversation, and we're not going to take your heads off for having something drastically different. Anyway, we'll be right back here. We're going to go ahead and take a brief break, and then we will go ahead and be back with some talk on Star Wars.
Yep, we're going to drink lots of pop, and we'll be just belting into the just tons of follows after that.
All right, guys, we'll be right back. More Rantcast. Don't go away.
Podcast.
Quite bad audio, everybody. Good stuff. Podcast. The only podcast to be Rantcast, except for everyone else's.
Everyone's doing a Rantcast. In the world of Rantcast, the Rantcast podcast. Coming up, brother.
I wonder how much of the noise canceling took that out.
It's just a bunch of... What's wrong with him? Why is he about to puke? He's gonna hurl. He's gonna blow chunks. He's gonna puke. He's gonna.
Well, welcome back. We have returned. Sorry about the lateness here. It is officially 10:55 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time.
And you're watching later than you think, Gandalf the Grey.
You're watching the RantCast podcast. I am Josh, also known as the StrangeBus. Here's my co-host, Kurgan, also known as HeroQuest Fans.
Yeah.
And you can... Oh, I forgot to change it over here, too.
Yeah.
You can find him at twitch.tv/HeroQuestFans. That's twitch.tv/HeroQuestFans. We're going to be continuing our rant here, starting with some Star Wars.
Ooh.
Hey,
Star Wars.
I actually have some good things to say.
Hey, positive.
Yeah.
Well,
But let me go ahead and pull up the article. Andor.
Something you should see. Star Wars positive.
And I've watched all of it. So we have Andor to talk about. We're going to talk about Andor first, and then go into
666 reviews.
Tales of the Jedi.
The Antichrist. Star Wars. Stories that George Lucas.
So, as you can kind of see, you're getting kind of spoiled a little bit because you have just started to watch it.
I watched half of one episode, and I would have watched more if my head wasn't killing me.
But
this guy convinced me.
We had a long talk.
I'm very averse to Star Wars now. I'm very timid about trying new things with Star Wars label on.
We're kind of like Mulder and Scully on this at this point because
I want to believe.
He wants to believe but cannot believe, and
I
believe, but I have to see it.
Hey,
I know it's out there.
Polsky killed another bot.
The truth is out there.
He's out there with the fly swatter. He's just like clopping them.
He's gonna get him.
Yeah,
look at him. Because the
ultra kill.
Those bots are out to get the new account. What's the so we're starting with Andor, which
Cassian Andor. It's a new series on Disney Plus.
I've already tried to recruit him, so we'll start here.
If you've got Disney Plus, which I don't, you might be able to watch it. There's 10 episodes that are out right now.
We'll just go ahead and pop.
I mean, I've always said that of the Disney Star Wars, Rogue One was my favorite. I'm not saying I thought Rogue One was a great movie. I'm just saying it was my favorite of...
Your mind tricks won't work to convince me. Okay, hold on. So I'll start with my thing, and then we'll kind of...
I don't blame you for being skeptical. I'm still skeptical myself.
Okay.
I don't know, 4 episodes, and then I'll judge whether series is worth my time.
So when I started, and I'm actually bringing this here, I'm going to see if I can remove those subtitles.
I'm not going to get a strike.
I don't. At this point, I don't care. It's fine. We're not going to... We shouldn't get a strike, but who cares? Anyway.
This is about Star Wars? Okay.
Yeah. So when I first showcased this trailer, I was telling people, why make a character based on Rogue One? I mean, Rogue One was a decent enough movie. Who really needs an uninteresting character? I mean,
generic.
And Cassian Andor was the guy who ends up dying. Like, I mean, do we really need extra crap?
They kill a character off and they give us the prequel of their backstory.
But now, hold on. Most of the time that Disney's done this, it's been kind of like filler and fan service and whatever. Like, this character runs into Darth Vader, or he runs into so and so from the movie, super young. And I don't know if I've run into like a young. Well, yeah, in Kenobi they do it, but this show is less Star Wars and more of a crime drama. Just a full-on crime drama. The only thing that it will tell you it's Star Wars is what you're watching right now. It's just the environment, the ships.
This is very everything. Star Wars heavy, yeah. Ships, the environment,
and it will scream Star Wars in certain areas. Like I said, there's the scenes here with Mon Mothma that will tell you Hold on. I'm gonna break it down because I'm gonna forget if I have to switch topics. Hold on. It will tell you it's Star Wars in very subtle notes, just by the environment around it, the weapons, everything, and then it will switch and give you something completely different. Like the beginning of the first episode doesn't fill you with anything else other than the fact that this guy is looking for his sister. He ends up accidentally killing some folk, and now he's on the run. So I feel like
John Wick.
I just
I mean,
I forgot to loop. I got so enthralled I forgot to loop this. Sorry.
Yeah, the next Rick.
But it doesn't get as heavy as the trailer implies.
Yeah,
there was
it looked like a Rogue One Part 2.
Yeah, this part when I sat and watched the first 3 episodes, the only thing that screamed Star Wars to me was they were planning to invade a rebel bunker. It focused more on his childhood. It focused a lot on other characters. It did amazing character building. The ISB was a Star Warsy part about it, but they brought it. That's the crime drama-ish part.
What's ISB?
The Imperial Security Bureau. So this takes place in between 3 and 4, of course. It's the
5 years,
kind of the beginning of
the battle.
Yeah, so it's the Imperial or the Empire's at its heaviest right now. Coruscant is a very dark place, and like every time they switch over to it, you can feel it. There's a sense of dread everywhere, and they don't make it dark. They're not showing stormtroopers kicking people and making them evil and stuff like that because they're goofy in like 4, 5, and 6. So it's a single file line where they're walking. There's a very and I'm not trying to sound offensive. There's a very Nazi implication that they used in the original trilogy, right?
That was always the intention.
They imply it very heavily here. The guys that you're seeing here in the trailer, they're a security force for the planet that Andor was on. They aspire to be like the Empire and end up regretting it. So there are scenes where you'll see some civilians accidentally trip over an Imperial officer, not a stormtrooper, and then going to prison. It's kind of like a like I said, it's to me it's more of a dark drama than it is just Star Wars. And it's
when we think of Star Wars, we think of like swashbuckling adventure, like heroes.
And they replay the same shit. They try to heavy hand certain characters. I haven't run into anybody familiar except for Saw Gerrera, and he's a newer character in the series, but that's it. They make every character very new and very open. So you don't really need to watch Star Wars to watch this. It's just a sci-fi crime drama. And you sit down and anybody can watch it.
But let me ask you a couple questions from the skeptic point of view, if you're ready.
Sure.
Okay. So is this the type of show that's made for non-fans?
Like I said, man, anybody can watch it. Like I said, with Kenobi, they had, I could have my wife sit down and she go, so where does this take place again? And I'm like, okay. And I'd have to sit down and tell her, like, where in the storyline this takes place, what's going on.
But if I don't know any of that lore,
who the characters are, this doesn't have previous characters installed. It doesn't have to explain to you parts of the storyline. I didn't have to, the reason I wasn't interested at first was because it was a character I didn't think was important.
Yeah.
And that's what sells it now.
You're on roll. Go for it.
It is a character that was technically, he meets his end at one point in time, but that's what brings life, I think, to the show, is the fact that it's not a bunch of familiar faces that are famous and always have to have a story. It's not a Skywalker film. It's not, like I said, that's the only character I've run into, and that's Saw Gerrera. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of you'll find people who favor the Empire. You'll find people who dislike the Empire but won't take action. There are people that are killing innocent people because they believe in fighting the Empire, but they feel like they need to do good, but they're misunderstood. So it's not like, your typical rebellion hero. There's a character who literally wastes. There's a guy who's like, well, I'm afraid to fight. And he's like, okay, well, get out of my way. And he just blows through the dude just to kill a bunch of Imperial people out of bunker.
Moral ambiguity.
Yeah, there's a bunch of moral ambiguity. And it makes you hate even good characters. like I said, it's the character building. It's something I think Disney has been missing from a lot of points, and it goes to it gets to my next point, which is I think on where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna gun for Star Wars theory here next, but
Oh man, I'm withholding my thoughts until I actually see more of it.
You guys, like I said, if you guys have questions, I'm free to answer them. It's the fact that we're at 10 episodes, and I cannot tell you one of them that I fully disliked.
Interesting.
Is
this one of those shows where the first 2 episodes are a waste of time, or what would you say?
No, they're just moderate. Like I said, like there's not. Some people were blown away by episode 6, and the only thing that like screamed to me on episode 6 was it was just the finale of what episode 3, 4, and 5 brought you to, and it was good. It was good.
Like they have a plan, or are they making it up every episode?
No, it's just not endless filler. Like it's not garbage. Like
okay.
There's not a part of the show to me that just feels like it wants me to go to sleep. Like Kenobi had episodes where I was like, oh, this can be a dredge. Like he had to land on that. He landed on that one planet that was like a gambling planet, and he walked around, and I was like, come on, let's get to the point.
They just wanted to show off.
And then they got to a point, and that point was good, but like he takes forever to get somewhere, and like there's only 5 episodes. Let's fucking move to it. Like this has 10 episodes, and it takes its time to build on each character. Like each character,
so it's not a Skywalker where it's boom, boom, they're on another planet. They're doing something crazy.
It's not a ripoff of Kyle Katarn. Look, man, me and you agree on a lot of things besides like maybe the sequels.
Yeah,
I am faithful to Kyle Katarn in many ways.
I love Kyle.
He is not a ripoff. Maybe an inspiration, if anything, but there's nothing about him that puts on a shoulder pad and has any force sensitivity.
So Andor is not a weak sauce Kyle Katarn.
No. He had no previous Imperial experience. He's just a thief. The guy is literally a thief. That's all he is. He's an asshole.
He's not a guy with a lightsaber and a few questions.
No. At the beginning of the story, the guy is literally just a thief looking for his sister. And literally nobody likes him. Like he goes home after killing somebody, and he's going home to try to hide to clear his name, and nobody wants him. I think the one close part about him is he does carry a briar pistol, so he has inspirations to Kyle Katarn.
See, and if you're holding back spoilers, don't worry because I don't care.
Well, I'm holding back to other people, but like I said, I totally forgot about that until I saw it in the trailer. Like I said, if there
3 episodes came out at the start. So they expected you to get through almost like a feature length.
They don't. I think that's more of just the fact that they're trying to bring that weapon into Star Wars more, maybe, because it's a one-time shot.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you ever see him doing anything else, like if you see him carry like I said, the dude dies. So I don't know. Maybe they inspired things for him.
Well, and as a fan, like I'm not the type of fan where I feel like, oh man, I love Jedi Knight so much that you've got to like tell me it's canon again, please. Like you've got to put it on screen and say, yes, all that stuff happened. Like I can still treasure it, but
I'll treasure whether it's canon or not.
Yeah,
but
I don't care what Pablo Hidalgo says. I mean, I didn't care what George Lucas said, so why would I care what Disney has to say? Kathleen Kennedy's like, I'm sorry, that's not canon anymore.
No, he's not a ripoff. Like I said, if anything, I think
he's not Rendar. He's not.
I think they took things from there and put it into his character, but he doesn't have the same mannerisms. I don't think he doesn't. Nothing about it screamed Kyle Katarn, except for the fact that he carries the same weapon at the beginning.
Do you think all Kyle Katarn did was he just took a briar rifle and just sawed the barrel off, and that was his?
Yeah. Well, they technically had briar pistols back then. Or in the,
I thought it was another weapon that he modified.
It's like a B-189 Briar Blaster. I don't know.
They've changed some of the Jedi Knight stuff. Like, remember Jarek? He was supposed to be just a human he was blind and he used the Force to see, but then they turned him into an alien that doesn't have eyes. And so some stuff has changed.
Yeah, like I said, man, I don't like Disney either. I don't think this is like a change or recurrence. And like I said, that's where I'm going into this, right?
If they do anything right, that's a start.
And, So, but what I'm getting at is there are things that if I completely hate Star Wars, I'm going to end up just hating it. Hating all of it. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to take the good parts that they introduce, and like this is where it goes.
Well, as a fan, I mean, if you haven't just written the whole thing off completely, you want to like praise them when they do it right? Give them good feedback.
Yeah,
you're not just hanging on because you're so loyal. Like, well, it's Star Wars and I have to like it. It's like if you do Star Wars wrong, I'm gonna hate you, and if you do it right, I'm gonna say,
but
right track.
I'm gonna tell everybody the same thing I told him. Find somebody who has a Disney Plus account and just watch a couple episodes.
Allegedly.
I can't really tell you that because he still gets into fights with stormtroopers, or not really stormtroopers. He gets in fights with security officers that aren't the Empire, that inspire to be the Empire. There's an entire episode focused on an Imperial prison sequence that doesn't really aspire to be traditional Imperial like protocol, but the way they did the prison sequence was really good.
Well, we're talking about a galaxy-spanning civilization, so just because we haven't seen it or in the movies doesn't mean it didn't exist. They can kind of make up whatever they want.
The guy you're looking at half the time is a rebel radicalist. I mean, like, it's like I'm saying, it's not about whether or not it's Star Wars or not. It's the fact that I can watch it and forget that it is Star Wars half the time. There are things about it that say it's Star Wars, but it's like watching something new and not fucking hating every bit of it.
How would you compare this to The Mandalorian?
But The Mandalorian is okay. So you're not picking up what I'm putting down. The Mandalorian has hints of it that scream previous Star Wars movies. Fan service.
It's directly linked.
I really have to get to my next point, or I'm just going to confuse the shit out of people. Like, so there are bits of fan service recently, and I think that's what's been fucking up Disney culture. When they try to, they just play it safe.
Yeah, desperate attempts to get our attention.
So they've been playing it safe, and they've been doing a lot of fan service. This doesn't have a lot of that in here. Not yet, anyway. The 10 episodes I've seen,
fine by me.
They've, like I said, the only reason Mon Mothma's in there is because she actually has a role to play. Okay? And her entire time, she's been getting either verbally abused, or she's had a really rough time handling everything in every scene that she's been in. There's no, like, she stands up for the Republic, nothing. She's been getting hit on both sides by the good guys and the bad guys.
Yeah, because the Republic is still around.
Like, everybody fucking hates her right now.
I mean, the Empire is the Republic.
So, the story they're telling her is the fact that how does she get from there to where she is in, Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
And Rogue One and all that other crap. And, like, her story in this is more interesting than since I've seen her in Return. So,
well, she had a very thin character.
So she's not just standing around talking; she's actually playing a part in a movie. Okay. And like that's what I'm saying. Is like, and she's playing a part in a drama. It's not like, well, oh, I'm going to give you 1 million credits to go and steal the Death Star plans, or I'm going to do this for you so you can gather 1 million rebel troops. It's I need to talk to my husband and my daughter's a verbal bitch, and my husband's beating the shit out of me. That had nothing to do with Star Wars. And then, on the other hand, I'm sticking up for the Imperial, or I'm trying to fight the Imperial bureaucracy, which everybody's agreeing with, and I'm the person who's standing up right now. And the only person I can turn to is an old friend, but literally I'm on the political side of things, and everybody fucking hates her.
So it sounds like they're rather than taking well-established characters and ruining them, or...
I mean, they're
taking underdeveloped or non-developed characters and just going with that.
Like, yeah, they only have really 1 or 2 real, like, characters.
I've been saying that for years, that this is what I would want them to do. Rather than taking a character you love and, like, swerving them.
This guy you see, like, just now, is a guy who aspires to be part of the Empire, and nobody wants him to be in the Empire. Every Imperial officer has turned him down. He actually fucks up the entire case he's in and has the Empire take control of his planet unintentionally and then loses his entire career. So, like, based off the fact that he's trying to solve a murder that Andor caused. So he absolutely hates the guy, is trying to solve the case, is told to ignore it by his superiors, ends up going after them, and then the Empire takes notice and is like, well, since you decided to take this in your own hands and fucked it up, the Empire has to clean it up for you, and you all are losing your jobs.
Let me ask another question about this. Not to derail it, but There's been a trend, I think, in a lot of fiction to just go like the grimdark way. Like it's so dark and morally ambiguous. It's almost a self
Okay, but
parody.
what's the traditional grimdark way of Star Wars lately?
Well, it's not. But I'm just saying, would you say that this story is doing that, or do you think it's doing just the right amount of darkness?
So imagine like,
And
um,
not like you're not like laughing at it. You're like, oh man, this is Watchmen.
imagine like like an actual like really good like crime drama from the 90s or mid 2000s mixed in with this.
Characters aren't like
It's not all about
pure
yeah,
evil or
well,
good.
no, yeah, it's not about black and white, and it's not about taking a direct route. Yes, there's a goal. There's always going to be a goal. There's always going to be a Star Wars ish like plot in there. You're going to know it's there.
There's hope.
But like I said, they actually have character building and they have a plot in between. And it's more than just that. Like I said, with Rogue One, yes, Jyn Erso was like kind of an outcast. They said it at the beginning, and that was it. And after that, she became the hero, and she had to go out and steal the Death Star plans.
She cried a little bit over her dad.
I mean, yes, she had to go see her dad, but
it wasn't a melodrama.
It was a simple plot.
Yeah.
Here, there's a lot more to be told. Like I said, there's multiple characters are being told something, and they're not just saying, "Oh, well, they were once bad, but now they're going to be good," and this is what they're going to do, and they're all going to meet together and give each other a hug and do something. Somebody's going to die, and then you're going to cry over it.
The format allows them that space to develop.
Even with the TV show, man, like we've had bad TV shows,
of course,
and like so the big thing is you also have, and like I said, I could be overdoing it, right? But I also explain things really horribly sometimes. And like I said, the best way you can experience it is by maybe, I would say, take the first 3 to 6 episodes. It's a 12-episode show. You get about a quarter to halfway in between it, and you'll understand, because every character they're showcasing has a background. Every character they're showing here has a detailed background. It's not just Andor.
Well, Polsky's question, I think you've pretty much addressed what he was saying, but is the question of canon something we really need to worry about here? Like, am I going to be watching this and spending all my time nitpicking, like, that didn't happen, that's different?
I don't know, because they don't have like a famous battle. Like, they mentioned the Battle of Fondor in here once, and that's it.
Sounds like somebody like got the name Fondor
or something like that, I think. But like that's about it. And like the battle where they're going to take the Imperial bunker, that's mentioned internally. And like it's not like a famous battle that needs to be mentioned 60 years after.
Well, the Star Trek movies he's talking about, they specifically were like, this is all because of time travel. This is an alternate universe, and they set it up from the beginning to be
nothing relevant
different. Yeah, so this is still in the universe, but it's far enough away that it won't tread on anything.
So imagine they made a show about a clone trooper that died about, I don't know, a year after Attack of the Clones, and that was his story.
On some other planet.
It was him, a clone trooper, somebody he met along the way, and maybe a faction, and they all told their story in great detail. Nothing got tied in with Attack of the Clones, nothing gets tied in with Revenge of the Sith, nothing gets tied in with A New Hope. Yes, it leads up to maybe those things, but nothing big is happening. Anything big or in detail is happening in his life and his life alone. And that's what makes this exciting, is the fact that there's not a big battle happening. There's not anything great or epic involved. It's his life and the people's lives around them. So you're not going to be going, oh, well, what happened to the battle that happened at Andor back in Return of the Jedi and blah, blah, blah. Like, I have to tie all this shit to Star Wars. You don't have to tie jack shit to Andor at all. I could have my wife watch this show, and she doesn't have to tie to anything to Star Wars. She doesn't even have to watch Star Wars to watch this. So, like, that's what I'm saying is, like, it's a crime drama. It really is just a crime drama.
I think maybe what he's getting at is it's not anti-Star Wars. You're not going to watch this and go, oh,
Well, no, the trailer itself is screaming Star Wars.
They're in the same universe. They're in the same galaxy.
It's just, it's doing something other than Star Wars, which is what Star Wars should be doing. Star Wars shouldn't be saying, oh, by the way, I know that you're here, Andor, but have you met Luke Skywalker?
There's only one story set of characters. That
you need to go protect him. He's on Tatooine. So before you go get the Death Star plans, go and rescue Luke.
Making the galaxy too small, which is a critique of both the prequel trilogy and the sequel trilogy. It's saying it's too small. It's
why Kenobi left a bad taste in me.
Plus, they're not telling a very good story to begin with. But yeah, it's like they don't know how to talk about it. So yeah, it's a good thing because they're saying Star Wars can be other things besides just those same characters.
Yes.
And if they can make the characters compelling, then great.
Yeah. So that's where I'm going with this, is the fact that it's
I'll give it a chance.
It may be Disney, but it's not Disney schlock, is where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my next point. According to Star Wars Theory, and I'm going to open up his channel here.
Star Wars Theory.
They openly admitted that the prequel or the sequels were bad. So let me go ahead and I hope you're listening to this, Pulse, because you're gonna have a field day.
Does he? What does he think of Star Wars Theory?
I don't know.
It's not a channel that I've seen very often.
I don't think he's gonna. I'm not only gonna bring up a little bit of this, but me and him are gonna have. I'm gonna have
Star Wars Theory is a big channel. He's got 3.32 million.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Star Wars fan since 1996. And creator since 2016. This guy's pretty good. I recommend him, even if there are things I disagree with him on, right?
Now, does he have any official ties to Lucasfilm, or is he just...
No, but like, they notice him. And he's, like I said, he's interviewed some big people.
Now, is he the guy that, they ripped on him? Like, they made fun of him?
Yeah,
it was like, what are you doing?
He's the guy who cried over Luke's return.
And Pablo Hidalgo made fun of him. People hated on him for all.
He cried over Luke's return, and he got slammed by Pablo Hidalgo.
It's like, come on, man.
But yeah, he does.
I'd be a fan.
He does fan fictions. He does a whole bunch of other stuff. So
Disney finally admits they ruined.
I might
like this guy.
Well, yeah, but he also does a lot of clickbait. So hold on, chill out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he got me with the clickbait.
I mean, he tells it right. It's not like untrue, but like there's baity click stuff in here. Okay, so hold on a second. I'm gonna bring up his video. And then we're gonna pause. So this is credit to Star Wars Theory, of course. Once again, my opinion on the guy isn't relevant to what I'm about to say. So the guy does really good stuff. He makes great live streams. He's really humble. He donates. He's a decent guy. There's a reason he has 3.32 million subscribers, and I'm a nobody. So keep this in mind. The guy is really cool, and if I ever got a chance to talk to the guy, talk actual Star Wars shop with him, I'd probably learn a lot more than I do now. So I'm going to keep that with that in mind. Let's go ahead and bring this up. And let's
hate to this guy just because he's successful.
No, but
to another video. Today we have something very interesting. It's going to get very controversial and quite real in this video, in this reaction to this article and the information that we're going to get. You might have gotten a prelude in Nerd Theory just last Monday, a couple days ago here.
I apologize.
Josh and I were discussing this for the first time for me, and
I would put it
now
on,
I'm getting into the full story, and I found the article, and I'm going to do a thorough reaction on everything that we read, and we're going to talk about it because things are a bit hectic at Lucasfilm, it would seem, considering this insider is correct, and if not, well, shame on this article and everything else. But for the sake of this, let's say that things are actually credible, and I believe they are. So let's go ahead and read this and see what we make of it. Okay, so you guys ready? Let's begin. Now, before we do, I want to make sure I reiterate something. If you like or dislike the sequels or anything Disney has done, please be respectful to everyone else, and vice versa for everyone else who dislikes it. We're all Star Wars fans at the end of the day. No one is above the other. Doesn't mean if you like the Disney trilogy, you're not a Star Wars fan. And if you don't like the Disney trilogy, it doesn't mean you're toxic or sexist or misogynist or whatever they want to label us all with. I am here to report my findings and my thoughts on this as always, and I'm going to give it to you guys real and raw and uncensored. So,
okay. So I'm going to tell him and tell you what he just said, okay? Because this is going to be very important as he continues. He just said that no matter who you are, you're welcome here, okay? Now, I'm going to see where my headphones are, because I do want Kurgan to listen to this. But he did mention to people that no matter who you are, you're welcome here, and like you're not whatever they want to call you if you like the Disney.
Low, he's telling me that I'm welcome.
Yeah, it's pretty much. Hold on.
I'm not.
Hold these. On shop. Yeah. Oh my dude. All right, here.
Han was the only one who shot at that scene.
Hey, McClunky. You're full of McClunky.
Yeah.
What's going on, Jason? Hope you're having a good night.
It's like George Lucas just like gave him a box full of confetti like when he left. He's like, if you open it, it's your funeral.
Sure, McClunky.
Oh man.
All right. You want to share?
Try this.
They're disinfected. They're my public streaming headphones, I suppose. So,
yeah.
All right. So are we ready? Because now I gotta stretch. Sorry, you're gonna have to get real close there, Kurgan. All right, let's go.
So here we go. Let's get into things.
Well, we're really
time to talk about the state of Star Wars and Lucasfilm and everything that has gone down in the last little bit. So, for the time being, the next Star Wars film is scheduled for a December 2025 theatrical release. The previously slated movie Rogue Squadron won't be meeting its 2023 window and has instead been shelved. Given the current trend at Lucasfilm, the odds of a movie being ready in 3 years' time almost seems like an impossibility. It's been abundantly clear for years that internal turmoil has stalled the film's development process for the company since the completion of the sequel trilogy. This was confirmed last week when Lucasfilm SVP Michelle Rejoin was demoted. The producer was tasked with overseeing Rogue Squadron's development in addition to other new films, and was relieved of her duties following too many creative difficulties. Now, 3 years removed from the last silver screen experience, Star Wars fans are itching to get back into theaters for a journey into the galaxy far, far away. That time is still a few years away at best, and it's not one that Lucasfilm was particularly looking forward to. With so much riding on the next theatrical title, Lucasfilm executives are actually worried about the franchise's next steps. And they should be, to be honest. Puck industry insider Matthew Baloney reported that Lucasfilm's grueling development time for the next Star Wars film is the result of a culture of fear and indecision among company executives. Now look, this Matthew Baloney guy might be lying, or he might be 100% on the money and spitting facts and telling us stuff that he knows as an insider. I don't know the relevancy or the validity of this individual or this professional, but I am here to comment on this article as it's being written by a bunch of different article websites, and I want to give my take on it too, just not in article form, but in video form. Lucasfilm's internal mantra for new movies is getting it right. Would you imagine that? An attitude formed after the sequel trilogy's development and production. The company internally acknowledges that the sequels were rushed to meet aggressive release dates. If this is true, this is so disheartening to read, because the fact that they took this story from George, didn't use any of his sequel trilogy treatments, and rushed to meet aggressive release dates. And in fact, I can confirm this is exactly what was happening. And this was actually written in Bob Iger's biography that he released just a few years ago, and I read most of it.
Okay, we're doing another pause. Hold up. Read that.
Audio jump.
Read that. Just take a couple seconds. Okay. He's going to read a little bit of it, I believe. But just take a couple seconds. I'm going to unpause it about 10, 15 seconds. Don't look at the face he's given. Read just the section there.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. I'm going to give about another 10 seconds. Okay.
I looked at it.
Just a brief section. Then you failed. Okay, we're moving on.
I read the chapters with George Lucas, and he was trying to push out a film for one of the quarters of 2015, and that's when The Force Awakens came out. So when you give a company a product like Star Wars to Disney, they're going to be looking at their money. They're going to be looking at how many slots can they fill in that year of major titles. And I remember Bob Iger said that we love seeing big numbers at the movie theater. We love putting people in seats. And so having a big release, having a big weekend opening box office was a very big thing that he said in that biography. So he's rushing to meet aggressive release dates, meaning that they want to release any Star Wars project in a certain amount of time, which really makes them scramble and not focus on the story to be told, but rather just push something out to fit a timeline, to fit a release schedule, so they can start working on the next one, and so on and so forth, and milk the cow, so to speak. This is not how you handle Star Wars. The resulting trilogy was something Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy elected to play safe. Quotations, choosing fan service and franchise management over creative writings. Now, what I say to this is, Kathleen, what are you smoking? What fan service did you provide in the sequel trilogy? You made Luke a goddamn bitch. You destroyed a legendary character. Han Solo was a hero for the rebellion at the end of Return of the Jedi. You turned him into a deadbeat father who loses the Millennium Falcon. What the hell kind of fan service is that? Because Palpatine returned as a last-ditch effort to save the franchise, in which it only made it worse because it didn't actually use any sort of creativity. You just kind of brandished him as having returned and transferred his essence into another vessel of his clone body. I found that to be the most lazy thing I had ever seen. At the time, I thought it was so cool that Palpatine was returning. I was really excited to see how they would do it. But once I saw the film and I saw how they actually executed his return and executed him in the end with the same move that Mace Windu used on him, with Rey doing it with 2 lightsabers after he said, "If you strike me down, I shall now live on in you," I was very confused. Does he now continue to live, or what's the deal? It seemed like they were having to fill in so many things in the books and explain so much more just so you could understand the movie, because they did a piss-poor job at trying to write a story, not for the sake of the story, but for the sake of meeting aggressive timelines.
Okay, I knew you wouldn't. I definitely knew you wouldn't. Okay, here we go. You're gonna hate me. I'm just gonna say, you're gonna hate me.
You go for it.
Okay, are you ready? We'll come back to this. We're going to come back to this.
Let the hate flow through you.
My personal opinion is totally agree with a lot of this, right? I don't mind how they did Han Solo's character for the sequels. There are some parts I conflicted with because, me and Kurgan have talked about,
hold it back.
I thought the sequels were kind of rough. But I don't defend them in any case. I watched this the first time and I was like, yes, sequel people, you're welcome. Come on in.
Take your beating like a man.
Come on, so you can take your beating like a man. Because that's where I got from this. Also, as much as I would love to just believe that the sequels were hit with just aggressive release dates, which we have been told before. And I don't blame, like I said, I don't blame him for this. Just saying, we were slammed with, release date A and release date B, and that we had to give people crunch. So, give us the slap on the wrist and we'll get going and we'll change the scrub. That is such a fucking excuse, because I'm pretty sure that did happen. But there's so much shit that happened behind the scenes with those movies.
Solo, just as one example.
But just the sequels in general, there's a lot more than, sorry, we didn't meet our numbers and stuff like that. Yes, it was probably part of it, but there was a lot more that could be done. I feel like this is also one of those things where, what is it called? You're not asking for permission, you're asking for forgiveness at this point.
Yeah, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission. Just do this thing and sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry.
It's out there now.
And this is kind of a very awkward article, because they're saying that, we're going to be choosing to go in a different direction other than fan service, because the fan service route isn't meeting our numbers.
Well, I think you and I are kind of agreeing on this. The fan service, if you can call it that, was in Solo and Rogue One primarily.
Just to let people know,
unless just mentioning a character,
I'm not
fan service. In Mandalorian.
I'm not a sequel lover by any means. There's a lot of Star Wars content that I stood by, and for years I've always said this: the expanded universe lives on. It will always live on in my heart. It will always take place beyond anything else, because that's what I grew up with. And that's just how it happens. It's not just nostalgia. It's the fact that I'm not gonna wipe 20 years of my life because Disney said, it doesn't exist.
We're just gonna redo it all.
Yeah, so you can go fuck yourself, and that's not happening.
Like Lethal Weapon 4 is a good movie, and the other Lethal Weapon movies never happened.
Yeah, no.
Oh, well, thanks.
So
No,
but at the end of the day, the sequels were made, and besides Rise of Skywalker, which I like to think doesn't exist,
that's the one I hated.
He's the one who's defending it,
but I knew it was already trash.
I had to watch it twice because it was the first time I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. Because like I said with him, that ending was pretty good. Adam Driver sold that ending for me. And then I had to watch it again and go, dude, where the fuck is the plot here? I can't find it. It's going too fast.
Yeah.
So the Force Awakens was actually had work put in it. I
didn't like it, but
I wouldn't call Han Solo a deadbeat dad. I mean, there's tons of people who have turned to the dark side who've had failing masters. That's like calling Obi-Wan Kenobi a failure of a role model because
you can say
turn to the dark side.
The story arc of Han Solo was that he wasn't a good guy, but he
wasn't a good guy.
He got to a better place, but then they're like, and then he relapsed into a jerk again.
I didn't like how they did
resetting everything. That's my problem with it.
And I didn't like how they did Luke, but he's also going to bring up a thing with Rian Johnson. He's going to bring up like a 5 or 6 year quote where I also think that's really inaccurate because most producers, directors, writers will usually say whatever the fuck the general public needs to hear
you can
at
always
the time.
What they say in interviews.
And if you're bringing up quotes 5-6 years ago, yeah, it's going to slam them. Yes, it does hurt them publicly, but they don't give a shit. They still make movies, and like I said. He's gonna bring up a quote here, and I don't exactly know where in the video, but you'll see it. Where he says that Rian Johnson preferred his movies to be controversial, half liking them, half disliking them, which is what makes the Last Jedi so divisive. And if that was true, most of his movies would be like that, or they'd be mostly hated or mostly loved. And like I said, if you've seen Knives Out, which I
haven't, but what was the other one he did? Looper.
Yeah, and Looper. I liked Looper.
I liked Looper too.
And Knives Out was really good.
I liked it.
So I mean, like, there's work put in there. He doesn't just make like random ass schlock. He just doesn't do Star Wars. And
he agreed to do it, and then
he just didn't do it right. Like, he made a crappy Star Wars movie, and that's like, you make crappy movies from time to time. He tried his hand at a franchise and it didn't work. And that's it. Some directors and writers can't do things. Like, they expand and they can't fucking do it. And it either ruins their career or it sets them back. And I think
if you're a franchise, maybe think twice before you Rian Johnson.
But like, it's one of those things, like, because he can probably do a franchise, right? But I think he's had creative control for a good, chunk of his career. And a lot of those people like to, they don't like to be told what to do with their movies. And like,
did Rian Johnson have carte blanche or not?
I don't know, but it's like telling Steven Spielberg to do a movie your way, and he's going to say "fuck off."
But didn't they say that was the problem with George Lucas, is that he had no naysayers? He just could do whatever he wanted. And guidance. So there's the same problems. Like, J.J. Abrams, he could do whatever.
No, because it looked like he had some he had people like talking to him. I think it's the fact that Rian Johnson had a set storyline given to him by Disney. He did it, and then he changed it in the way he wanted to get it done because Disney said, "Oh, well, we're giving you creative control to do it the way you want to."
He kind of reset the previous movie, and then he reset it again to go back on track for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not swerve and get too into it, but it happens in Hollywood a lot. It's just
it's not a unique problem to him.
It's like an artist drawing or making a painting.
They're going to commission you to do this.
Yeah, we want you to do this. They're like, okay, but I'm going to add my own personal touches to it. So,
you don't like my personal touches?
Go fuck yourself. Yeah. So I think really in this point, when it comes down to it, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like a lot of the sequels. That's never going to change.
Yeah. The sequels would work better as like video games or comic books, but to me, not as sequels to Return of the Jedi.
I like I said, I like this guy. This guy does good stuff. He's usually the guy I refer to when it comes to Star Wars mediums. He will usually defend the Disney stuff. He reads the EU for Disney. He does a lot of the comics. He's a prequel lover at heart.
So the fact that he's taking a different approach here,
I think his slamming of the sequel trilogy and all intensive purposes, I think is a kind of a cliquey thing. But I also like I said, I agree with half of it. And I like I said, I'm not just going to disarm them, because to me, I don't just think it was like an aggressive release date. You can say that about a lot of video games, and there are developers and people who put their fucking work and time and energy into that stuff. And,
like Republic Commando, I feel like that could have used more development time, but it's a good game for what the game.
Yeah,
it isn't like, oh, I'm so disappointed.
It's
terrible.
I think it's the work ethic, and I think it's the way people are presented with such work. So, and there was a lot of fucking background to those movies that, like, we didn't know for the longest time. Like, they didn't have the Rise of Skywalker story completed until it was halfway through production.
Oh, dang.
Like, they kept telling Daisy Ridley different shit, and, like, how are you supposed to act, and how are you supposed to get your shit down if you don't know who your dad is, and if you don't know, like, what the fuck's going on? Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, you need to have your job in order. And if you don't have your job in order and your actors don't know who the character they're playing, they're not going to fucking act correctly.
Like Peter Jackson with The Hobbit. It's like, this is what he could do in the time. It's like, what'd you expect?
Yeah, not to mention the fact that they sidelined Finn, which was, I think, a horrible decision.
He got the shaft.
So
that whole trilogy.
It was very bad. It was very controversial. It was a mess. And
the thing is, like, a lot of these actors, it's not to say that I agree with them on everything or think they're good guys even, but it's like you can clearly see that they've been screwed over by Star Wars.
Well, not just that, but I also think that Kathleen Kennedy should be shelved at this point.
Yeah.
And not because I just dislike her as a person. I don't think she does her job very well.
She just doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't do. Even if George Lucas handpicked her and all that stuff.
Okay, and let's start at the beginning. Also, Polsky, you're really not going to like this, but this is just a neutral opinion. Okay, this comes from a neutral point of view. This isn't coming from my point of view.
Thanks for being here, Polsky.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you. Like, you're my moderator, so let's keep that in line. Let's keep that in line. Because really, at the end of the day, dude, I do appreciate you being here. But the big thing here, this is just coming from a neutral point of view because I cannot view these just on my own bias. If anybody remembers, 10, 12 years ago, the prequels were still viewed as bad movies all around. Maybe Revenge of the Sith was the saving grace.
I liked parts of the prequels. Like, my big thing was Episode 1. That was the one I had the most problem with.
Even a little bit longer than that, we had people who dissed those movies.
Yeah,
like he's dissing the movies now.
Star Wars is back.
And
Awakens has fixed all George's errors. I remember that.
And I'm not saying
so hardcore.
I'm not saying that the sequels will make a comeback because they're gonna be people that are going to enjoy them, but I don't think they're going to make
bad. People will look at the sequels finally. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
No, but what I'm saying is the fact that if you're going to blame somebody first, Lucas starts it.
Yeah,
because it's not the movies he's made; it's the fact that after the prequels were made, he stopped handling Star Wars. Mm-hmm. He said, "Fuck it, the fans are hard. I don't want to deal with it anymore."
Yeah,
and he sold it to Disney.
Yep.
So, I was dissing Uncle George for the longest time. I was one of those assholes who was like, dude, George Lucas is taking Star Wars in a horrible direction.
I was too.
I really liked the sequels, and I'm the dude who fell for the expanded universe. I said there are artists and writers who can do Star Wars better than George Lucas, and I fucking fell for that hard.
I was the opposite. I was like, now I never read the New Jedi Order, so I never gave it a chance. A lot of people love that series. When I heard about it, I'm like, that sounds stupid. I'd rather hear what George Lucas has to do, because I know the prequels are coming out in 2 years.
But they all had to be approved by him anyway, and that was one of those things.
After episode 1, I was like, I hope the rest of this doesn't suck as much as
And that's what I'm saying is, like, I think he just got tired of it, because there was just a point in time at one point in time where he was just saying yes to everything.
He set himself up as the ultimate arbiter of everything Star Wars, and he was the genius visionary and everything. Yeah, he made it too hard on himself.
So when we say things like, we need to take this back to George, how old is George Lucas now, folks? Let's take a look.
Must be getting close to 80. Yeah, because we're not listening anymore.
But hold on, we will be.
So it's like Lucas is right and he's wrong. Just like,
well, no, it's just the fact that, like, we can't say, hey, let's take this back to George Lucas. He was born in 1944, so that would make him how old? I can't math.
Return of the Jedi is still my favorite Star Wars, and I think it always will be. And I like big portions of the expanded universe, and I don't diss on either episode 1 or the sequels because of it didn't follow the expanded universe.
So he's 78 years old right now.
78, okay.
There are a lot of people who will It permafroze on you? Oh, dude, you got to look at the VOD. That was
so
holy shit, dude.
So StrangeBus was saying, "You're not going to like this. You're going to be angry because I'm about to lay it down." So he's still on your good side.
Yeah, we'll go. But like I said before, it starts with Lucas, and to try to bring him back for something like this, like I said, there's going to be a point in time in his age where he's not going to be completely there.
He said
his health is going to be deteriorating, and like I think he does have somebody helping him right now. Doesn't he? Doesn't he have a caretaker? Like, do you really want somebody like? I mean, he is still like, the creator of Star Wars, and he could probably still do some stuff.
Well, and I know you can't trust everything that directors say in interviews, but he's been saying for decades, like, I don't want to do Star Wars anymore. I want to do other projects. I want to do movies that I care about that nobody else cares about. He kept saying that over and over. And he took it upon himself to be like the Star Wars guy and keep creating Star Wars stuff. So it's like, it's a weird kind of thing where he just tied himself to Star Wars. He made himself too big to be able to fulfill his destiny as everything.
And,
then he handed the whole thing over to Disney.
And it's like I said before, I don't dislike the prequels. I don't hate the sequels absolutely like a lot of people do. I don't think they're great movies. The only one I found fondly was The Force Awakens, and that's the one I've probably seen the most. But the other ones I've kind of had a hard time with. I always give you shit about The Last Jedi, but that's about...
Force Awakens it's kind of just nothing for me. I mean, it feels like a fanfic.
So Alone, when it first came out and there was nothing else before, I enjoyed it because it introduced its characters well. At least for me, it did.
The characters had promise.
I didn't mind that Han Solo died because originally he wanted dead. So Harrison Ford didn't want to be part of it anymore.
He wanted to be dead in Return of the Jedi.
Let me go. I just want to go.
But see, it's kind of like I don't care what the actor thinks. I'm concerned about the story in the movie.
They're not going to want to do shit if they're not interested in writing.
But that's how they got the star power of Harrison Ford in it. Was my character dies? Like, okay. So blame Harrison.
It was the same thing for what's her face, Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver wouldn't want to do Alien 3 unless she died, and they still got her ass back in the next Alien movie. So I mean,
she's playing a different character, but still.
Yeah, she played a clone of herself.
I know, it's just like underhanded way. Fine, I'll do it.
I'm pretty sure she did it very, very convincingly. If I remember the last time I saw that, I was like 10 or something.
But I guess the alternative is you either don't feature the character at all or you recast them.
I would have recast it. But people wanted her to come back. So
yeah. Sigourney Weaver's awesome, but yeah, Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection are not good compared to the first two.
No, and there's a whole nother rant.
It would have made great video games, great comic books, but not good.
There was a game for Alien 3.
At Genesis, I loved it.
Yeah. And
it's very little like the movie.
God, and there was a whole fucking
versus Predator.
There was a whole fucking hell based on like the making of that movie and all sorts of shit.
Development hell. Production. Yeah. What was it? The production cut or something? It had some name. The assembly cut, that's what it was. Yeah, watch it.
Isn't there wasn't Michael Biehn in that? Was it Michael Biehn or
no?
Who was it who just doesn't fucking think Alien 3 is canon?
I'm not sure.
One of the actors. I can't remember.
It might be Michael Biehn. I mean, they only showed like, oh yeah, he died in stasis. Sorry.
Yeah, and like he just.
But then in that video game, Colonial Marines, they had him as a voice actor.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, while I was asleep, I woke up and had an adventure, and then went back.
Yeah, because he reads the original script instead, or like the altered script at like conventions, and he like he will like not talk to you if like you're a fan of that movie. So I think like that. I can't remember. Like there was a friend of mine who walked up to him and said like he like disliked Alien 3, and he's like, good, because it doesn't exist, and like he like walked off on him. He's like a grumpy asshole. Like it's funny.
I can respect it. Yeah, man. If I was
I was like, dude, I've seen you like Terminator, and you don't look that grumpy. But Jesus, I mean, that was like what 40 years ago. You probably like don't want to.
See, that's the thing. Like, I mean, the actors are not their characters. That's just their job.
Oh, yeah.
So,
but yeah. Anyway, like I was saying before, it's I feel like I said, there's like another 20 plus minutes of this to go on the video. So, take it for what you want. I can put the link in and you can watch it yourself. But the big thing is so the way he presents the beginning of this, I feel is
I'm done. Disney finally admits they ruined the sequel trilogy.
I feel like it's a little misleading. So,
yeah.
Because
you follow this guy more than I do, so
yeah, because this is a guy who will go one way and then he's kind of veering into a different direction.
I think he's just doing devil's advocate, or this is what he really thinks.
I think that he's doing devil's advocate right now. Okay. I think, but he does have a lot of truth in it too. So, like I said, I'm not saying he's bad, but the big thing is, I want to kind of put in some.
There's another one he's got to follow.
Some big stuff in there. What?
Oh, I burped. He's got to follow him. Oh, he's long gone.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's gone, dude. See, what you're talking about.
He's missing all these burps. Like, the guy came on and is like, burp if you want me to follow.
But...
Sorry. Famous.
But yeah, like, I don't... Like, as far as, like, reading the article, he will say, like, if it was true, but, like, to me, it just seems bullshit. Like, this wasn't just rushed to meet aggressive release dates. This was that, and...
Do you think the rumors he's reporting on are BS? Or do you think it's
I think there's more to it than that. And then on top of that, I think the fact that, to me here on the Rantcast, yeah, I don't like the sequels very much. But if you're a guy who comes in as a Star Wars fan, you like them, yeah. Plus, he's going to tell you, I'm not going to watch them again. And I'm going to tell you I don't like them. But you could tell me anything that you like about them, and I'll tell you parts of that I did enjoy.
Yeah. There was a part,
dude. I don't know what's going on. Our stream.
There was one part on this side that I liked. One part that I liked, out of context.
But what I'm saying is that everybody is welcome here. Like
at the Rantcast, yeah,
down to the core. Rantcast, StrangeBus, and HeroQuest fans.
I disagree with all of my opinions. I'm glad you're here.
You are welcome here. I'm pretty sure he feels that same way too. It's the fact that I'm not going to tell you. Because you're welcome, and then I completely slam.
You like what you like, but yeah, if you can give reasons why you like what you like, it's like, all right. Or if you want to, I mean, you don't have to. You just like something for no reason.
But
just like it.
I'm also going to say that I tell you why I don't like it, and I think that's what he was doing. But the big thing is,
like if you like the Star Wars sequels, you're going to find even more stuff in the previous movies that you will like. Right. If you're being honest with yourself.
Yeah, and
unless you just like something because it's new, like there are people that do that. They like the latest Batman movie, but they don't like the one right before it. And when the next one comes out, they say they like that one and not.
Oh man, they're like I said,
just want what's new.
Wolf's a Batman 89 fan, true, and there are some people who just like that.
I like Batman 89,
and they won't go any higher. They won't go any further.
I haven't seen the new The Batman.
I haven't either.
But, I mean, I like the Dark Knight. So maybe I like the new movie of each new trilogy. I don't know.
It's kind of like me and Superman movies and stuff like that.
Superman's been hit and miss.
I've kind of died on
Superman 1 and 2.
From jettisoning most of original writer
Superman
Michael
Returns
Arndt's
pretty good. It had some weird stuff in it.
Wasn't it Brandon Roth? Yeah, I met that guy. He's a really nice guy.
I used to watch.
He was Evil X number 3.
Lewis and Clark.
Which was my favorite?
Lois and Clark.
Lois and Clark.
Yeah. Is it Dean Cain? Was Superman in that?
I believe so.
I never saw Smallville.
I watched Smallville. The guy who did Lex Luthor was awesome. I wonder what he's in anymore. He didn't do a lot of stuff.
Gotham. Well, that was Batman. I never saw that.
My wife watched it.
I heard
he was a big person.
People were very disappointed.
I would vomit before I watched that show.
There was
no offense.
They couldn't talk about the Joker, so they had a guy who was just like the Joker. But
you mean the guy who plays in Jedi Fallen Order? He played the Joker.
The not Joker. The maybe Joker.
The was Joker. Would be Joker. Could be Joker before the show got canceled. Yeah. So yeah,
I feel sorry. It comes back to HeroScape. It's like I feel bad for the people who invest in something, and then it just drops off, or they bungle it, or whatever.
Like I said, there were good parts to the sequels, and you could tell in certain parts of this, besides the Rise of Skywalker, like I said,
it's like a role playing game, like the idea of a former stormtrooper. There's your character. Now, where can you go with them?
And you had character development in The Force Awakens. You did
an orphan who just has the Force. Oh, okay, go with it. Let's see.
Well, even Rey had something.
Yeah.
Like she was a mysterious character, but she had something.
Could have been anything.
And you had a previous character come back. You had Han Solo, Chewbacca, and then it introduced Luke at the end, which was the greatest part because it did it all the way to the end. You were like, oh fuck, why couldn't he come back sooner? But it made you feel good because she hands the lightsaber and she's like, "Oh, there he is." Why is he only there at the final part?
But maybe that's what they mean by fan service is like, oh, just seeing a character.
No, because to me, it's not just like, hey, he pops in like, oh, I'm Luke. I'm going to save the day. Like in the Last Jedi, like Luke popped in and saved the day. Like, to me, that's fan service, right?
Fan service is like Yoda whipping out a lightsaber and jumping into battle. You're like, oh, but then afterwards you're like, oh.
It was cool in Attack the Clones. Yeah. It's how you introduce it, right? Give your characters some fucking development.
Well, with that, it was like Yoda's sitting around, he's mulling around. It's like, finally, action!
Yeah, did Yoda?
And then he's wrong. He's wrong. But at least he tried. Give it a good try there, Yoda. Good try.
Like I said, I just feel like the character needs, whether you know them or not, they need more development before they just hop in and do something. Right. But, that's what I'm saying is like the fan service, right?
Yeah.
The Mando was good because it brought character development for your main character. It added characters you didn't know that won't come back. Then they started bringing in, characters like Ahsoka Tano and you got...
That I took as fan service.
You got his crap like that. And I was like, dude, the lady should be dead. That is either a Kathleen Kennedy request or like, something because
that character you like.
I swear to God, she died in Rebels and she should have been dead in Rebels. She had a fantastic farewell in Rebels, and that's where it should have ended. Like, dude, for real, it's pissing all over it. Like,
I don't know anything invested in the character. If you do,
if you want, okay, hold on. I'll here. Put your.
I did say I feel bad for.
No, put the headphones in. We're gonna ride this train for a little while because I'm telling you now. I could probably even type it in and it would still pop up.
Katana. Tell me she doesn't get stabbed with lightsaber.
Wait, who in Rebels? Oh, look! Ahsoka's real death. Rebels. 6 years ago, before she fucking comes back.
Does she get stabbed through the chest with a lightsaber?
No.
You can survive that.
Will you watch it? Just fucking watch it. Hold on.
Kurgan will not be appearing in the next
When Thrawn, Polsky, I never finished it because the Thrawn camera thing I had to stop. Okay, do you want to watch it then? If you don't, I'd click out now.
Spoilers!
So, I mean, it's really not a spoiler anymore, so it's up to you, Polsky.
It's a spoiler for me, but I don't care. I mean, I watched very little.
It's really not a spoiler because she doesn't die.
Also, it's not her. So it's clickbait. Come on.
No, it's not because it was 6 years ago before she came back.
Oh, so the video was and then they brought her back.
Really don't care. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, I care because this was a really good fucking scene, and I liked Ahsoka in Clone Wars, so that was a big thing. Like, I actually grew to like the character.
Yeah, she started out extremely annoying, but then she became a fan favorite.
Credit to whoever the fuck this is, Rayzone, who posted this 6 years ago when this was her death. Let me go ahead and. Even states her death in the top. Oh, you can't see that.
YouTube.
I love sniffs as well. So yeah, this was a great farewell, and you're gonna see and hear some.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna hear some stuff in here.
I saw Clone
that was fucking dope as shit. Not the movie, dude. The movie sucked ass.
No, I know it did, and I knew it did, and I was just like, I don't care. I'm just gonna see a schlock at the theater because there's nothing else to do.
It was foretold that you would be here. Our long-awaited meeting has come at last.
I'm glad I gave you something to look forward to.
We need not be adversaries. The Emperor will show you mercy if you tell me where the remaining Jedi can be found.
There are no Jedi. You and your Inquisitors have seen to that.
Perhaps this child will confess what you will not.
I was beginning to believe I knew who you were behind that mask. But it's impossible. My master could never be as vile as you.
Anakin Skywalker was weak. I destroyed him.
Then I will avenge his death.
Revenge is not the Jedi way.
I am no Jedi. I'm Ahsoka. Master Yoda sent me.
You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan. But you might make it as mine. Doing what the Jedi Council says.
I got you baited. Sorry. Hold on.
Got him.
This is better. Here we go. Hold on. I'll switch it back here in a minute because I've gotta get it back here. Yeah, here we go.
Strike?
Yeah, complete copyright strike. But we should be in better. I don't know how good the quality is. It says 720p, but I don't believe it. Let's try it again. Sorry, guys.
Revenge is not the Jedi way.
That's probably better. Volume 2.
I know
all the Jedi. Nothing.
I need a lot more training.
The ending of this is very disheartening. It makes me very sad.
The 7-year-old's crying.
I'm not a 7-year-old. Fuck off.
I'm just looking at the rating.
Did they really get into it?
Oh, shouldn't have done that twirl off the side of Westwood Streets.
She comes back. Here's the good part. See? This is before Kenobi.
Cut off the mask.
Anakin.
He like tricks her.
Help me take this
I
mask.
won't leave you. Not this time.
Look at his eye.
Yeah. Well,
He like, hold on, wait.
expanded universe.
Then you will die.
That is your destiny.
Okay,
Too violent to show.
too violent for TV.
Oh, so we don't get to see her.
No, so that was the point. She got trapped in that like force pyramid. I can't remember what it is. She was trapped in there with Vader, okay? And you know, Vader being who he is, right? The last thing she gets to hear is her old master's voice that trained with her. And like the last thing before this, because there's a section in Rebels where you see her, right? So you kind of get to know her story. But there's a section before then, and I think it's Clone Wars, where she leaves because she gets banned from the Jedi Temple for false accusations. So she's done being a Jedi because she believes the Jedi's dogmatic ways are stupid. So she leaves the Jedi Temple, even though they say, "Oh, we fucked up," and then like she leaves, and then it shows this. It's implied she didn't make it because Vader comes back and she doesn't, and she's trapped in there. Like they're both trapped in there. So
It's like, what'd you do to her, Vader?
it never shows her death.
Go.
Yes, therefore allowing people to just bring her back. But like for like the longest time, she never came back. So I think it was just like, I'm thinking it was some sort of executive decision that they brought her ass back and just decided to say, okay, she didn't die. It's the only reason I ever watched this show. Because I had almost no interest in Kanan Jarrus or Ezra Bridger at all as characters. It was implied later in Rebels that she died. To me, and a lot of people. Like, I talked about it for like the longest time. Like, she never comes back.
How'd you survive?
Until, no, I lied. She does. Because she does come back in the final season, I thought. Yeah, never mind, I lie.
At least she didn't get stabbed through the chest with a lightsaber.
It was implied until the final season. I never watched the final season until recently, so that was my fault. So, like, forever I came back, but they did a final season. Yeah.
So if I watched Rebels, I'd get played just like everyone
Yeah,
else.
I missed out on the final season. So I correct myself because I did a horrible opinion. So this whole thing was for just you guys to watch.
That's all right.
Because luckily somebody did jump in and she goes, "You're wrong, you moron."
You're passionate.
She comes back in the final season. She does. She comes back because I think the final season of Rebels has like a Return of the Jedi moment. She comes back then, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And
she talks in Rise of Skywalker, so she's dead.
Yep. So I don't know. I guess
no one's ever really gone.
Nope, not in Star Wars. They always come back.
If the writers want it, then they're back.
They're back.
And we're back. Well,
thanks for that reminder, Polsky. I forgot. I totally forgot about the last season.
Right. So what's our final word on whatever it is we're
Thanks. They're not paying attention.
Well, we were talking about Star Wars theory. We were talking about the sequel trilogy and the direction overall of Star Wars, right?
Yeah, I really just think that I think there are people in play right now that are using certain writers and directors and producers to
don't thank me.
They're kind of overworking them to make Star Wars better or more watchable or tolerable.
He thinks that we're misunderstanding.
I'm misunderstanding you. Why? You said that it was implied later in Rebels that she died. It wasn't. I just didn't watch all the last season until later on in life.
Season finale with Ahsoka and Vader in the temple.
Yeah, you just reminded
the last episode.
Yeah, you just reminded me of the final season. That's why I thanked you. As you said, "Oh, was it implied later?" And I said, no, it wasn't, because I remembered the last season.
So you both stopped watching it, but then you came back and watched it.
Yeah, because I did what he did. I stopped watching it midway through the last season.
My favorite character. All right,
no, it was midway through the last season I stopped watching, and then I came back later on a couple years ago to finish it, she comes back in the final season somewhere. So he kind of reignited the brain fart that I had.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, because if you look in our previous episodes prior to the channel, I stated that they're really using Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni a lot.
The savior of Star Wars. They're putting them in charge of a lot of things.
So Kathleen Kennedy can say whatever the fuck she wants to say because she just overviews it all and she reaps in the rewards. And it's easy to sit on your ass and collect money all day, but I don't know. That probably comes off really harsh.
So
but
he didn't like the Thrawn introduction.
Me and him have a different view on it.
I just remember Thrawn from the Heir to the Empire.
I prefer Thrawn and Heir to the Empire.
Those 3 books from Timothy Zahn.
But
the beginning of the...
I was glad they brought him back.
90s.
But
yeah. He was dead too.
He's 2 different eras behind. And so he's in a completely different era in the books. This is pre...
Oh, you're right. Because
this is pre a new...
During the Jedi era, this is before.
Yeah, this is before New Hope.
There's no way he could die. He wasn't a Grand Admiral yet. Because...
Yeah.
The Empire was still at the height of its power.
So it's one of those things of, whether I could sit through it and say, well, I could still read my books. And that's one of those things where, you say... It's you say, you got tired of it because you don't want to have to watch it, put it all together, and
yeah, it's for me. I've followed this for 45 years, and I've seen everything.
I don't need to do that. It's just I pick what I enjoy now and do that.
You go through the buffet line, and you're like, I like this.
And if it doesn't make sense, it just doesn't make sense. I don't spend my life going, well, Thrawn was in Rebels. Okay. I guess whatever. And then I'm well, I'll just go, Thrawn was better in Heir to the Empire. So
yeah, it's I want to see Boba Fett when he was swabbing the deck before he became a Mandalorian.
You mean back at Camino?
Yeah. Get him, Dad. Get him.
Fire.
Yeah, it's I want to see the boring stuff that Luke was doing on the moisture farm before.
But I want to go to Tashi Station to pick up power converters.
That was his favorite thing. You see him pick up power converters. Yes, these are awesome.
I never got to pick him up. He goes back to Tatooine to build his lightsaber, and he's like, I'm going to stop by Station Station, those motherfuckers.
He keeps going there just to hang out with his friends and waste time. He never actually picks up the power converters. He's like, no,
his friends are all gone.
This time I'm going to get them.
No, you can't hold him forever, Owen. Most of his friends are gone.
So much of his father.
That's what I'm afraid of. Get those droids cleaned up, and you can go to the academy next year.
Yeah. See.
It's a whole other year.
Get Blue Milk in full production.
It's only one more season.
That's what's in these big things. It looks like I'm going nowhere.
I hate you. But yeah, that's our talk for the Rantcast. I want to thank everybody who's been with us here today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
It's been wonderful. We have a guy named Feet in here. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he's a bot or not, or if he's real.
Well, if he's not real, he'll be banned later.
We have a Discord streamer community, which I'm pretty sure is
legit.
Not legit.
Yeah. Well,
Jacer.
Jacer's real. As real as they come.
Please tell me this name again. I'm gonna butcher it. Is it
Onyxius?
Onyxius. Thanks for joining and following.
For dinner.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
And Polsky, as always, it's a pleasure. Yep. I enjoy.
Even though you're wrong about everything. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Polsky banned Feet. Can't have Feet.
You guys have seen more Rebels and Clone Wars than I have. So I hold back my own opinion because I don't know. Yeah. I don't know squat about this. All bots. Yep. All the time.
But yeah, I enjoy having you guys here. We appreciate you having part of the Rantcast and
talking Star Wars, talking board games, talking crap that annoys us about entertainment and bizarre decisions they make sometimes.
And this will be part of the VOD. This will be up as part of the VOD. I'll have this highlighted. It'll be part of a highlight. It'll be the full VOD minus the BRB that we took, and that way there'll be a VOD section and there'll be a highlight section. So when the VOD drops off after, I think it's 14 days, if you're not an affiliate, then you guys can still watch this. Then once we have this uploaded to YouTube, once the Rantcast podcast YouTube gets created, because we're still taking our time on that.
Yep. We got to carefully make sure we differentiate from all the other Rantcasts out there.
Yeah, because Lewis Black does the Rantcast as well.
Lewis Black, don't be angry with us. We're not
I don't care if you're angry with me or not.
He's always angry.
I'll just change it. It's fine. But
or the other Rantcast.
We'll go ahead and back this up to the YouTube channel. That way it'll be available. Our embarrassment will be available for all to see.
That's right.
But yeah, so we appreciate everybody for watching. I hope everybody has a good night. It's 12 a.m. our time. It's U.S. Central Standard, probably 11 or 1 for some of you. So we, once again, appreciate you taking the time to sit with us, chat with us, and we hope you have a great rest of your evening/morning. And we'll catch you guys on the Rantcast next time. I will probably be streaming later on in the morning. I'll probably be doing something.
I'm going to be busy probably till December, and I guess we got the holidays, but
I'll
stream as much as I can.
You should probably put a notice up there. You're taking a hiatus.
Yeah, I definitely am. So what I want to do for the future is on Fridays do Space Crusade on HeroQuest fans Twitch, and on Saturdays do HeroQuest. But the rest of November is a wash for me because I got family stuff. I'm going to be busy, but I can't wait to get started again.
Tomorrow I have it's me and my wife's 7th anniversary.
Congratulations.
So I will probably be streaming tonight. I'm going to get some caffeine, get everything up. So if you guys are still going to be up, you can tune in with me. I'll either be doing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, we'll be Carrot Cake, or we'll be doing something else. I don't know, maybe I'll play some Metro Exodus again. But we'll figure something out tonight. I could put a vote in the Discord if people are wanting to check it out, but that'll probably be the plan for tonight. Just have to get people things switched over and stuff done. But
so the bots of Discord on Discord and HeroQuest fans on Discord.
Yeah, we're going to put links in here. Let me grab
We've all got our own communities. I think in the About page of Twitch, I think I put everything.
Did you? Okay.
I put the basic stuff.
Never mind. We don't need the Discord brought up. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh, I didn't close the stream.
YouTube, HeroQuest, XSC3, home of HeroQuest fans, and then...
It's in the About page on...
StrangeBus. The StrangeBus on YouTube.
Yeah, it's in the About page here on the Rantcast podcast.
This is where we come together to unleash the rage. Rage.
All right, good night, everybody.
Night, everybody. Rantcast.
There'll be a raid. Yeah, stay on board if you want to stick for the raid. We're trying to look for somebody right now.